Chapter 600. Morong Qing looked at Lin Xian. Although she was already prepared, she still felt that it was unbelievable. Drinking such a little thing could increase her attributes. Wasn't this too exaggerated? Although the increase in attributes was very little to her, but to be honest, even if it was just a little, why would anyone give it up when they could get it for free? It's done. Morong Qing said faintly. Lin Xian smiled. Let's try the mental cultivation fluid. Morong Qing quickly said. Lin Xian nodded, then changed the formula of the mental cultivation fluid and handed it to Morong Qing. Wait, you seem to be whoring for free. Lin Xian suddenly realized something. Hee. Morong Qing laughed, then hurriedly snatched it and drank it directly. Ding! Your spirit plus 10. Morong Qing's little mouth was wide open. In some ways, this 10 points of spirit was much stronger and more precious than 10 points of physique. How is it? Yes. Morong Qing nodded. Then prepare for mass production. Lin Xian smiled. 2 days later, the major factories began to mass produce the physique modification liquid and the mind cultivation liquid. In Lin and City, more than a dozen shops had already started to renovate 10 days ago. Now, the renovations were almost done. It was just a simple renovation for the purpose of selling the medicine. Lin Xian wanted to see how effective it was. If it was successful, then he could open shops in all the major cities and even create other industries. No, he could sell the things that everyone else was selling. However, with the mind cultivation liquid as a gimmick, other businesses wouldn't be too bad. And Morong Qing used her own power to spread the news, which indeed attracted countless people's shock and disbelief. They thought it was fake because it was impossible. How could there be something like medicine that could permanently increase attributes after eating it? But even so, it still attracted the attention of countless people. The people were paying attention, the 3 major forces were paying attention, the major families, and the 8 major families were paying attention. They all knew that if it was true, it would bring a lot of benefits. They might even be affected by it. On the morning of the 5th day, thousands of people arrived at the Art Pavilion building. Some of them came from other cities and even the empire. There were also the 8 great families of Chengdu and the great families of Lin and City. They all wanted to see if this was real or fake. This was a press conference held in the Art Pavilion building, and it was broadcasted live across the entire continent. It was only natural that this move would attract the attention of the entire planet Aqua Blue. This was also the first time Lin Xian wore a suit. The lobby of the Art Pavilion building was very spacious, and it was normal for it to accommodate thousands of people. The entire lobby was filled with delicious food and drinks. The reporters, the leaders of the various great clans, and even the people from the 8 great clans who had secretly come over were all chatting with each other. They had no choice but to pay attention to this matter. If it was true, being able to cooperate with such a startup company was simply making money. They had to grasp the real news as soon as possible. Not bad. Ling Ying nodded slightly when he saw Lin Xian in a suit. Nonsense, don't you see how handsome I am? Lin Xian said smugly. Come on, you are far from the word handsome. Ling Ying said in annoyance. Han Chushue chuckled at the side. They were also wearing beautiful clothes. After all, they were participating in Lin Xian's home ground. Even if others didn't care, they would care. I'm hungry, can I go out and eat something delicious first? Ling Longyue pouted and looked at Lin Xian expectantly. Sure, go and eat. Be careful when you eat. Umph. Ling Longyue then pulled Miao Xiaomiao's hand and the 2 girls ran out together. They were both beautiful little girls, and after interacting with each other, they found that they were quite compatible. Then they became good friends. Ling Longshui and Bing Lingyue also walked out slowly to eat. Lin Xian, we will also go out first. Lu Yufan waved to Lin Xian and then walked out with Yi Yi and Wang Xintong. Their parents were also here. They were very satisfied with Lin Xian and even had some respect for him. Your sister is nervous. Xiao Runing looked at Linya and said with a smile. Lin Xian looked at Linya and smiled. It's okay, it's just a small scene. Linya said, my own company has been established for a long time, but I have never experienced a press conference like this. Moreover, Sister Morong made it a global press conference, and these two potions have a lot of attention. Hundreds of millions of people will watch. Today, there are many big families and even people from the 8 big families of Chengdu. Linya was really nervous. Because Lin Xian had indeed helped the 3 big forces a lot. Other than Murong Qing, the 3 big forces helped Lin Xian to publicize this matter for free. Of course, the 3 big forces also wanted to collect a lot of potions, but Lin Xian didn't agree. Of course, he could sell them all at once, but Lin Xian didn't want that. He wanted the public. Only by serving the public could Lin Xian gain support and people's hearts. Only then could he further develop his own force. If he sold everything to the 3 big forces, Lin Xian would only get money. It's okay, there will be a lot of situations like this in the future. You are my little fairy, I have to rely on you. Lin Xian said with a smile. Linya took a deep breath and nodded. Don't worry, there shouldn't be a problem. Kid, you have become a big boss. A few months ago, you were my student who needed my protection. Now, it's your turn to protect me. Xiao Runing smiled helplessly. Hee, Miss Xiao, why don't you resign and work for me? I'll give you the position of vice president. Xiao Runing rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. Forget it, I still prefer to be a teacher, and you are no longer in the category of a student. Work hard. I'm going out to eat. I've been busy with you all for the whole day, and you don't even give me a salary. Xiao Runing said deliberately. Miss Xiao, we'll go with you. Ling Ying and Han Chuxue also walked out together. Today was Lin Xian and Lin Ya's home ground, and they were all here to eat. Oh right, the other executives of the Art Xian group haven't been confirmed yet, right? Linya said, I pulled a few senior executives from my previous company over, and they are very willing to come. They have been following me since the beginning. Well, I just don't want you to be so tired, but only you and I can trust. Linya nodded slightly. It didn't matter if she was tired, but she was afraid that she would mess up Lin Xian's matter. But under normal circumstances, this matter wouldn't be messed up. As long as the 2 drugs were real, it would be fine. Lin Xian looked at the time and said, It's about time, let's go to the press conference. Then they walked out. Chapter 601. At this moment, thousands of people were chatting in the lobby of the Art Pavilion building. When Han Chuxue and the others walked out, they immediately attracted everyone's attention. It wasn't a secret that they had a good relationship with Lin Xian, but in their eyes, they were just schoolmates and friends. No one would think that way. After all, the news hadn't spread. Normally, no one would think that they might have some other kind of relationship. A press conference turned into a party for them. All kinds of beauties and handsome men chatted with each other, eating, drinking, and having fun. Chuxue, long time no see. I heard that you fought with demons in Tianhua City. Is there any problem? Ouyang Jing held a glass of red wine and smiled as he walked towards Han Chuxue and Ling Ying. Then, he asked with a worried face. Han Chuxue turned her head and glanced at him. His arrival wasn't anything surprising. Apart from them, there were also people from the other 8 great families of Heaven Capital. Although those who came might not be important figures, Han Chuxue recognized a few of them with a glance. Although she wasn't familiar with them, there was no lack of domain realm and heavenly venerables among them. It was enough to show how much importance they attached to this event. It's nothing. Han Chuxue said indifferently. That's good. Ouyang Jing smiled bitterly. When he saw Han Chuxue dressed up to attend this event, he was jealous. Damn it! In Heaven Capital, she wouldn't participate in these events at all. Here, not only her, but also Ling Ying and the others were following Lin Xian. He was really jealous. F***ck. How could this Lin Xian? Then, his gaze fell on Ling Long Shui and Bing Lingyue in the corner. To be honest, he had never seen women of this level in his life. Today he was incomparably stunned. Admittedly, Han Chuxue and Ling Ying were very beautiful. But compared to them, in terms of men's desire to conquer, they were completely incomparable. These two women would make any man of any age, crazy. Even he didn't dare to go over and talk to them. He couldn't figure out who these two women were. Since when were there such women in the continent? He really wanted to go over and talk to them, but in the end, he didn't dare. He really didn't dare. Moreover, he was surrounded by the 8 great families. He didn't want to become a public enemy at this time. Liao Jian naturally attended this event. He didn't expect Lin Xian to be so powerful. He actually wanted to do this. Even he had never heard of something like this. Was it really possible? He didn't quite believe it, but if it wasn't true, why would he dare to hold such a press conference? Moreover, so many big shots had come. One had to know that if he was a fake and so many big shots had come, then he would be finished. No one would be so stupid. Of course, that might not be the case. Because his actions had indeed won the attention of the entire continent. There was a gimmick. Even if it was a fake, he would only be cursed. But if he gained the attention of the entire planet Aqua Blue, it was a different concept. He could gain a lot of attention. Just like some famous trolls on the internet, they would do all kinds of things. No matter how bad their character was, there would still be people who would believe and pay attention. Moreover, he was also jealous. He had thought that Lin Xian would never be able to compete with him. He had even helped out with the factories and shops. However, it was impossible for him to attract the attention of the 8 great families of Chengdu. This Lin Xian, on the other hand, had actually attracted all of them. They had even sent people here. Of course, if he did something similar, he could also attract them. But the most important thing was that he hadn't even gotten his hands on Murong Qing. He hadn't even touched her hand. Instead, he had helped her with a lot of things. Of course, he wasn't stupid. Of course, he could tell something was wrong. But it was only in hindsight. Damn it! These two people were deliberately using this method to make use of him. Therefore, Liao Jian was jealous of Lin Xian. He hated Lin Xian, but he didn't show it. He couldn't show it for the time being. But the grudge between them was formed. At this moment, Lin Ye and Lin Xian walked out. Suddenly, the crowd rushed up to them. The 8 great families and the people from other families also looked over. It was Lin Ye's first time seeing such a scene. She would be lying if she said that she wasn't nervous. Although she used to be a CEO, everyone was the same. They would be nervous if they had never experienced something like this before. Lin Ye was no exception. However, she felt much more at ease when she saw Lin Xian holding hands with her. Lin Xian and Lin Ye stood in front of the stage. What the hell? Ouyang Jing said disdainfully. It was disgusting that such an unpresentable person could attract the attention of the entire continent. Chief Lin, I heard that you just bought the art courtyard building, right? We know a little about you. May I ask if you bought the art courtyard building with a loan? Chief Lin, are these 2 kinds of medicine that can permanently increase a warrior's attributes real? We all doubt its authenticity. Yes. After all, even the 3 great forces didn't mention such a thing for many years. How could a student like you develop such a thing? Can you tell us more about it? Everyone, please be quiet. Lin Xian looked at the crowd's chaotic appearance. Some of them even smiled and said something through the microphone. Everyone quieted down. They were surrounded by a group of reporters. Around them were various big families and famous people. They also quieted down. Since they were here, it proved that they were curious and doubtful. They were also waiting for Lin Xian's answer. Of course, at least for now, they looked down on this kid. Lin Xian then said with a smile, I'm just a bystander. If you have any questions, ask my sister. She will answer all of you. Of course, you have to ask one by one. Don't worry, everyone can ask. Every topic about the art courtyard building and this press conference will be answered. Lin Xian directly threw the topic to Lin Ye. She would definitely experience these things often in the future. On the camera, everyone's eyes were on Lin Ye. Then, Lin Xian ran off. Everyone, this Lin Xian is too evil. He just left Sister Linya there alone. Ling Ying said helplessly. Sister Linya has to get used to it. Han Chuxue said softly. Lin Xian stood beside Xiao Runing and the others. Then, Lu Yufan and Yi Yi ran over. Miao Xiaomiao and Ling Longyue were also there. Your sister is so pretty. Xiao Runing said with a smile. Miss Xiao is pretty too. Lin Xian smiled. Go away. Xiao Runing rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. You're so shameless. You even dare to flirt with Miss Xiao. I really don't know who in this world you don't dare to flirt with. Lu Yufan mumbled. Lin Xian smiled and said, as long as it's a girl, I dare. Chapter 602. Murong Qing listened to their conversation from not far away, and the corners of her mouth curled up. This Lin Xian was really amazing. Not only did he have so many beautiful girls around him, but he also had a very good relationship with them. Most importantly, as an outsider, she seemed to realize that almost everyone had a good impression of Lin Xian. At this time, the reporters began to ask questions. Everyone's attention shifted from Lin Xian to Lin Ye. This was a global live broadcast of the press conference. It could only be done to this extent because of the support of the three major forces. This was the first time in history. In the past, the three major forces would only hold a press conference of this scale when there was something particularly important. Even the strongest families in Tiandu or other empires would not be able to hold a press conference of this level. This was also something that surprised everyone. Did Lin Xian have a powerful background? Impossible. Even if it was powerful, it could not be more powerful than the 8 major families. How could he do it? In fact, it was very simple. It was because Lin Xian had conquered the human race that the 3 major forces were willing to help him. He was qualified to do this. Of course, Murong Qing had also done a lot of things. When the live broadcast showed Lin Ye, the entire planet Aqua Blue was boiling. This was the boss? This was the boss of the Ye Xian group? Damn! Wasn't she too beautiful? She was simply a perfect goddess. The kind that one would fall in love with at first glance. God knew how many admirers Lin Ye had across the entire continent with just a little bit of screen time. Her beauty was absolute, and with her status as a boss, coupled with her beauty, it was even more amazing. Lin Ye said, ask them one by one from left to right. This press conference is to answer everyone's questions. Everyone will have a chance, and I will answer them carefully. Boss Lin, I remember that your previous company had an annual income of tens of millions. As far as I know, this Ye Xian building alone is worth more than 30 billion. May I ask if you bought it with a loan? Lin Ye said, it's because of a friend of mine. She is also one of the shareholders of the Ye Xian Group. She invested in the Ye Xian Group. Then why didn't she come? I'm here, but I just don't want to show my face in public. This question doesn't have much to do with this press conference, right? Next question. Boss Lin, I've heard about the existence of a potion that can permanently increase a martial artist's attributes as early as 2 months ago. May I ask if it was personally developed by you? A reporter asked. Lin Ye nodded, then looked at Lin Xian, who was not far away, and said, it was developed by my younger brother. I'm sure many of you know him, but he was just a test subject in the past. It's only now that he's decided to establish the Art Xian Corporation and do mass research. Then, Boss Lin, may I know the effects of your company's product this time? This was one of the points that everyone paid the most attention to. Everyone listened with great anticipation. Lin Ye replied, the effect is very simple. There are a total of 2 kinds of medicine. The effect is to increase a martial artist's physique and mental strength. Boss Lin, how much can it be improved? Each bottle of physique can increase by 5 points. Every martial artist can use it 5 times before it loses its effect, so it adds up to 25 points of physique. As for mental strength, it also adds up to 5 points. Every martial artist can use it 5 times, so it adds up to 25 points of mental strength. Lin Ye's answer became more and more casual. She was also slowly adapting to this kind of environment. Everyone was stunned. Boss Lin, it's only a total of 25 points. Such a small amount doesn't seem to have much effect. Aren't you worried that people won't care and buy it? Linya chuckled, then said, Then let me ask you, if you were given a chance to increase your physique and mental strength at a price that isn't too high, would you choose to buy it? Yes, I would. Then there's no need to worry about this problem. Linya glanced at everyone, then said, These two kinds of medicine didn't exist before. If a martial artist wants to increase their attribute power, other than increasing their level, they can only use rare treasures of heaven and earth. And these treasures of heaven and earth can only be found by chance. It's already very good if 1 out of 1,000,000 people comes across one. Now that the Yaxin group has given everyone such a chance, I don't think this is a problem to worry about. Boss Lin, since you said that the price won't be too high, then can I ask in advance, how much are these two kinds of medicine sold for? Linya said, 1 bottle of physique reforming medicine is 1,000 yuan, and 1 bottle of mental strength reforming medicine is 10,000 yuan. Everyone exclaimed. A permanent upgrade would only cost this much? It seemed that the price was not high for a permanent increase in attributes, but the total price if sold in large quantities was very high, so there was no need to worry about making money. Moreover, Lin Xian wanted to build a reputation so that he could build his own power in the future. Why is the mental strength reforming medicine 10 times more expensive than the physique reforming medicine? Linya said slightly, as everyone knows, every martial artist will increase their attributes by a fixed value when they increase their realm, but mental strength is an exception. I don't need to say more about the effect and importance of mental strength. Mental strength is determined at birth, and the value increased by one's realm varies from person to person. Basically, it will be less than other values, so in terms of rarity, mental strength is rarer and more important. Naturally, the price will be more expensive. I believe that most people will choose to buy it for 10,000 yuan to increase their mental strength by 5 points. Especially for low-level martial artists, I don't need to say more about the effect. Boss Lin, you've said so much, but we're just listening. What's important is to see it. Can you let us personally experience the authenticity of the mental strength reforming medicine and physique reforming medicine? I think this is also what everyone is concerned about. Is this thing that transcends time real? Linya nodded. Of course, no problem. Then, Lin Xian walked up with a few bottles of reagents in his hand. Everyone looked at him. These are the mental strength reforming medicine and physique reforming medicine. Originally, it was a strength injection, but now I've changed it to oral. The effect is the same, and it's in a blue bottle. As for its authenticity, you can all come up and try it for free. Let me. Then, a group of reporters ran up and received the medicine. Lin Xian looked at the big shots of the other 8 big families and said, Everyone, you can all try it for free. They were a little worried, but after thinking about it, they couldn't possibly be openly harming people, right? Then, basically everyone received 1 or 2 bottles and took it on the spot. Chapter 603. This was what everyone was paying attention to. Whether it was real or not, they would know immediately. When each of their numbers increased, they believed that this was real. Everyone revealed a shocked expression one after another. This epic-making thing was really born. Lin Xian looked at them with a smile. How is it? It's really real. Lin Xian smiled. Of course it's real. Those from the 8 great families and the other families panicked. Why? Because they seemed to be witnessing the birth of an existence that could rival their families. Obviously, at least in terms of financial resources, it would reach the level of the 8 great families in the future. Previously, they couldn't imagine that someone could surpass them. But now, it was possible with just this. But if it was just financial resources, it didn't matter. After all, without strength, they wouldn't be the 8 great families. At the Han residence, Zhao Yaji nodded with satisfaction as she watched the live broadcast. Not bad. He can actually create such an epic-making thing. He only needs time. At least we don't have to worry about his financial resources. Our daughter's taste is not bad. Humph. Han Chushue's father didn't look too good. Even if it's real, I don't like this kid. Zhao Yaji smiled and said, I say, hubby, the child's happiness is the most important. Moreover, this kid is really not that bad. Let's not talk about other aspects for now. At least in our Chengdu, which of those young talents that you think highly of can do this? Then I'm not happy either. I know you're angry that this kid cheated our daughter away without saying a word. But if what he does in the future is worthy of our daughter, then you can calm down. Han Chushue's father said coldly, I want to see him. Let our daughter arrange it. Moreover, with this relationship, our Han family can cooperate with this kid on this project. It can also raise our status among the 8 great families again. On the other side was the Ling family. Qin Lan was originally quite satisfied with Lin Xian. After seeing this scene, she was even more satisfied. This is amazing. This kid has only been gone for 2 months and he has already created such a thing. I say, hubby, it's all because our daughter has raised him well. Qin Lan smiled and said. Ling Ying's father looked at the young man in the camera with an ugly expression on his face. To be honest, daughters were always close to their fathers. It couldn't be said that they favored girls over boys. As fathers, they really preferred their daughters. They had been pampered since they were young. Seeing their daughters being cheated away by other boys, the one who felt the most upset was not the mother, but the father. Send someone to Lin and City and call this brat to Chengdu. I want to see what's so special about this brat to be able to trick my daughter away. If you're not satisfied, I'll kill you directly. Lin Xian still didn't know that he had already been targeted by the heads of the Han and Ling families. If it was just one family, it would be easy to handle. But if it was 2 families, it might just blow up. What I want to say is that this kind of thing can't be fake. I also hope that everyone can use it without worry. Of course, each type can only be used 5 times. Remember, if you use it too much, it will lose its effect. Then it won't be our fault. Lin Xian looked at the crowd and said, although these thousands of copies added up to a lot of money, it didn't matter. It wasn't important. Only when they could distinguish the real from the fake would others dare to use it. Chief Lin, we've confirmed the authenticity of this, but now there's another question. Has your Xian group reached an agreement with the 3 major forces? Otherwise, why would the 3 major forces help you broadcast the entire Planet Aqua Blue's press conference live? There's another point. Even if something is mass-produced, there must be a limit, not to mention this kind of thing. How much can your Xian group produce now? Is it because you're cooperating with the 3 major forces that these 2 drugs will be distributed to the 3 major forces first, and ordinary warriors like us won't be able to buy them? Is this the reason for this? Obviously, this reporter asked the question that was on the minds of the people watching the live broadcast at this stage. At this time, Linya said calmly, don't worry about this. Our Xian group hasn't reached a unilateral commercial agreement with the 3 major forces. I also need to clarify something here. The Xian group won't reach a unilateral agreement with any family or force. Our intention is to target everyone. The 5 empires and thousands of cities. What we hope is that everyone with the ability has the opportunity to buy the 2 major drugs. Of course, it's relatively difficult at this stage because there are too many people in demand. Even if we mass-produce them, there will be a limit. After pausing for a moment, Linya continued, first, we will sell them in Lin and City. Lin and City has already opened more than a dozen shops, and everyone can buy them there. After that, we will expand to the entire Hua nation and slowly infiltrate the 5 empires. As of now, we can mass-produce about 200 million copies. Even if one person buys 10 bottles of 2 drugs, it can only serve 20 million people. Of course, this is only in theory. In reality, it's estimated that it can serve more than 50 million people. However, this is only the first batch. If the results are good, we will start the second batch of production and sales as soon as possible. The 3 major forces will also have to go through the proper process to purchase them. 200 million copies seemed like a lot, but in reality, it was only enough for a few tens of millions of people to buy them. Sky Blue Planet had the ability to buy more than a few billion. Therefore, it wasn't that Lin Xian wasn't good enough, it was that he wasn't good enough. However, this was definitely an unlimited business opportunity. There would always be people who would grow up and need it. Then we can rest assured. At this time, a female reporter suddenly thought of something and asked, "Oh right, President Lin, I heard that you also have a drug that can increase a warrior's attribute purity, right? Isn't this for sale? I believe that this drug will be more popular than the other two drugs. Even if it can only increase 1%, for many strong people, this 1% is a huge increase." Linya looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian smiled and said, "Yes, it can indeed increase attribute purity." Everyone exclaimed. Then, Lin Xian continued, "However, everyone knows how difficult it is to increase attribute purity. Although we have successfully developed this drug, we can't mass-produce it. In fact, the reason is very simple. Every drug has its own formula, and it's the same for the attribute enhancement drug. However, the formula for the attribute enhancement drug is too rare, and it's destined that it can't be mass-produced. At the same time, through this press conference, I would like to ask everyone for the 9-colored spirit lotus and 9-star rainbow berry. If there are any, we will purchase them at a satisfactory price. President Lin, aren't you afraid that the formula will be leaked?" Chapter 604. Was he not afraid that the formula would be leaked? To be honest, even if an ordinary person had the technology, they would not dare to produce it on a large scale because the formula would definitely be leaked. It did not matter if someone stole it or bought the formula to search for it themselves. Of course, the latter was difficult. The former could be done by sneaking into the factory. Moreover, with such a monopoly, the medicine would definitely be targeted by everyone. No one dared to think about it before, but now that someone could do it, others would want to do it too. Lin Xian chuckled. "Since I dared to do this, I'm not afraid of others stealing the formula. You can buy the medicine and research it. Also, you can come and look at my factory. Just don't mess it up or I'll be looking for trouble." Lin Xian's words shocked many people. He was not afraid. So what if they knew the formula? They did not have the chalcedony liquid. So what if they stole the chalcedony liquid? At most, they could only produce a small amount. They could only rely on stealing. At this time, Lin Xian stretched. "All right, today's press conference is almost over. Everyone should have asked what they wanted to ask. Let's have lunch here. Our Yaxian group will naturally cover everyone's lunch. I wish everyone a good appetite. We're going to have lunch too. All right, let's talk about the sales time of the two types of medicine. The sales will officially start at 8 a.m. the day after tomorrow. Come and buy it with your ID card." After that, Lin Xian walked away with Linya. Click click. Liao Jian secretly clenched his fist. "You still want to open for business? You two tricked me and you still want to open for business? I'll let you know that I, Liao Jian, am not someone you can mess with." This matter had already become the trend. He could not stop it even if he wanted to. However, he needed time. As long as there was not enough time, it would not be able to threaten his position as the business tycoon in Lin and city for a period of time. Moreover, he could play tricks. He had an advantage, which was that the medicine was in high demand. However, there was also a disadvantage, which was that he was only selling it in Lin and city. If the store, the factory, and everything else were destroyed, he would have to start all over again. F***CKU. He was furious. Whether it was the factory, the store, or even the Art Shen building, they were all his. Damn it, he had helped them all. At noon, Lin Xian brought all the people he knew, including Han Chuxue, Linglong Shui, and Murong Qing, to a huge gathering. This seemed to be the first time that all of them had gathered together. The table was full of beauties, all kinds of beauties, and only Lin Xian was a man. It was simply amazing. It was just that. Lin Xian didn't know if they were in cahoots or something, but they all chatted with each other and ignored Lin Xian. But Lin Xian didn't care. He wanted to proudly say that one day, all the people sitting here would lie down and pout for him. He really had nothing to do for the past few days. Actually, it wasn't really that bad. He had put all his effort into the Art Shen group. Although there might not be any problems, it was related to all of Lin Xian's future plans. On the second night, Lin Xian successfully sneaked into Linglong Shue's house to eat. Linglong Shui, and Bing Lingyue were all his mission targets. This Linglong Shue's favorability had reached dead. It was really not easy. Linglong Yu's favorability had reached 42. Bing Lingyue didn't know for now, but Lin Xian felt that it shouldn't be low. Lin Xian, I want to eat noodles. Can you go downstairs? Linglong Yu sat on the sofa and swung her little legs. Then, she looked at Lin Xian and asked, Lin Xian, go away, I am a guest. You want a guest to cook for you? Linglong Yu pouted and snorted. Isn't your company going to officially start operations tomorrow? Why are you still here? Linglong Shui passed Lin Xian an apple and asked indifferently. I don't miss you guys. Lin Xian grinned. The three girls. Hooligan. Linglong Yu rolled her eyes and ate the fruit, fiercely. It was as if she was biting Lin Xian. Bing Lingyue smiled. She liked to watch them bicker, especially Lin Xian. She didn't know why she liked to watch silently. Wife, I haven't seen you in a while. Did you miss me? Ding. Felt Linglong Shue's anger. Prince Charming points plus 100,000. That's right. Linglong Shue's expression was a little strange. Why was this Lin Xian getting more and more unscrupulous? What was he calling her now? Shut up. Linglong Shui shouted. What's wrong? Lin Xian scratched his head. Linglong Shui frowned. She was really beautiful. God. He once had this woman. Wasn't he too invincible? Don't talk nonsense in the future. Their relationship was already very good. Linglong Shui was like Linglong Yu in the past. She wanted to kill Lin Xian, but now, don't talk nonsense in the future. She felt like she couldn't do anything to Lin Xian. Hey, you promised to be my wife. Linglong Shui looked at them from the side and quickly ate the fruit. She wanted to beat him up. She really wanted to. No. Linglong Shui said coldly. Wow. Don't be so shameless. Linglong Shui sat down. I only said I would give you a chance. Don't twist the truth. That's right. You still want to have improper thoughts about my sister. Tui, how can a lowly human be worthy of my Void Fox clan? Linglong Yu glared at Lin Xian and said. Lin Xian couldn't be bothered with Linglong Yu anymore. Even though they were both mission targets, Lin Xian's attention was clearly on Linglong Yu. Between a goddess of this level and a beautiful Lolita, Lin Xian would definitely choose Linglong Yu. Linglong Yu was someone who had no breasts and no buttocks. How could she be more interesting than Linglong Yu? Then my dear Xiao Linglong, will you do me the honor of going out for a meal and watch a movie with me tomorrow night? Lin Xian grinned and looked at Linglong Shui. I won't do you the honor. Linglong Shui said coldly. Hey, look at you. You said you would give me a chance to pursue you. I am indeed pursuing you. But you rejected my invitation to a meal and watch a movie. Is that considered giving me a chance to pursue you? Linglong Shui frowned. That seemed to make sense. She looked at Linglong Yu and Bing Lingyue. One shook her head and the other nodded with a smile. All right. Linglong Shui could only reply softly. Lin Xian revealed a happy expression. This was the first time he asked Linglong Shui out for a meal and a movie alone. That's right. After knowing each other for so long, this was the first time. They had done so many things together for a meal, but this was the first time they had done it alone. He was a little excited. He didn't know what he could do. Chapter 605. Linglong Yu did not know what to feel when she saw that her sister had agreed. Firstly, she was unhappy. That was her sister. She was so beautiful and had so many admirers. How could she go on a date with a human? How could a human be worthy of her? Secondly, she was disappointed. It was as if someone was fighting with her for something she liked. It was as if someone was going to snatch it away from her. Okay, I'll pick you up tomorrow night at 6. I want to go too. Ling Longyue mumbled. Go away, go away. Don't mess around, little brat. Ling Long Shuiyue pouted her lips. Ding. Feeling Ling Longyue's resentment, Adonis points plus 100,000. Sister, don't let him take advantage of you. That bastard is very bad. Don't you think so, Sister Bing? Ling Longyue said. Ling Long Shui and Bing Lingyue nodded. Lin Xian touched his nose awkwardly. He suddenly thought of something. Alright, you guys went to look for the parchment scroll. How was it? Ling Long Shui nodded. We found it. The 4 parchment scrolls have been combined into one. Then did you guys go to the place marked on the parchment scroll? The location marked on the parchment scroll was the forbidden area of the Void Fox clan. It could be a forbidden area or an unknown place. However, Ling Long Shui was certain that there was a huge secret hidden within. It was related to the extinction of the Void Fox clan and the death of her parents. She really wanted to know what happened during those years. What kind of place did they go to and why did they never return? Ling Long Shui shook her head. No. No? Why? Bing Lingyue said, the place marked on the parchment scroll is a place that we can't go to. Not even the virtualized stage. Lin Xian was shocked. To be precise, it's not that we can't go. We just lack a key. Ling Long Shui said. Key? What's there to be afraid of? The power of the great virtual stage can just directly smash the door into pieces. What's the point of opening the lock? Ling Long Shui. Bing Lingyue was speechless. It wasn't his fault. It was because he didn't understand. Ling Long Shui explained to Lin Xian in detail, that place is known as the secret of planet Aqua Blue. Not to mention the great void realm, even the heavenly Tao realm can't break in. Without the key, no one can enter. Even the power of space is helpless. Many experts know of that place, but they don't know its exact location. I didn't expect the location of the parchment scroll to be there. There's such a thing? Lin Xian pricked up his brows. There was still a place on planet Aqua Blue that even heavenly Tao realm and spatial elemental powers could not enter. Did it require a so-called key to enter? What kind of place is that? Lin Xian asked out of curiosity. Ling Long Shui said, rumor has it that it's a second world, a parallel world to planet Aqua Blue. It's another planet Aqua Blue, where countless people and fey beasts from another world live. There are also rumors that it's a void world, but there exists a realm that surpasses the heavenly Tao realm. It might be the realm of shattering the void, but no one has ever entered it. No, my parents, the Void Foxes, and perhaps many experts from back then have entered it, but they all died. Lin Xian frowned. Shattering the void? Is that true? He needed that place. If it was another world, a parallel world to planet Aqua Blue, could it be Earth? Lin Xian was very curious. What's the key? Lin Xian asked. The key? Ling Long Shui hesitated for a moment before looking at Lin Xian. Then she said, rumor has it that the key to that place is a weapon. Perhaps it looks like a weapon on the surface, but it's actually a key. As for what kind of weapon it is, I'm not sure either. Perhaps others know, but at the very least, I know that one should not attempt to enter without reaching the heavenly Tao realm. Why? Back then, I knew that my parents, as well as many experts, were at the heavenly Tao realm. However, they never came out again. If a heavenly Tao realm expert perishes here, perhaps only those at the heavenly Tao realm with 10 stars are qualified to enter. Ling Long Shui said with a slight shake of her head. Heavenly Tao realm. Lin Xian pondered slightly. At the very least, he knew that there was a place that could allow him to return to Earth. As long as there was a place with a sliver of hope, that was enough. The most terrifying thing was having no hope. As long as there was a sliver of hope, there was nothing to be afraid of. But having no hope at all was the most despairing thing. Lin Xian believed that since he came from another world, there had to be a way to return. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to come at all. Since he could come, there had to be a way. Even if it was impossible, there was still a way. Sister, How far are you from the heavenly Tao realm? Asked Linglong Yu. 1 step. Linglong Shui said softly. Isn't that about to advance to the heavenly Tao realm? Asked Lin Xian. Linglong Shui shook her head. It's been 30 years since I took this step. The bottleneck is just too profound. Perhaps I'll need another 100 years before I can take the next step. That terrifying? Lin Xian gaped. What do you think? We Fei do have longer lifespans, but cultivation is harder. Ignoring 100 years, from what I know, numerous Fei take thousands of years to advance to the heavenly Tao realm. It's even possible for them to take 10,000 years. Sister, a conservative estimate of 100 years is already heaven-defying, all right? Linglong Yu rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. However, what he said made sense. 100 years was just the concept of a year in a human's lifespan to a Fei at her level. Then, if you advance to the heavenly Tao realm, will you head there? Asked Lin Xian. Linglong Shui shook her head. Firstly, I don't have the key. Secondly, I'm not confident. After all, I have learned my lesson. Before I reach the heavenly Tao realm's 8 stars, I might not attempt it. Although she knew it very well, she did not dare do so. Of course, it was not because she was afraid of death. If she had the key, she would head there on the first day she reached the heavenly Tao realm. However, she had a younger sister that she could not let go of. If she were to head there, she would most likely die. She could not leave her younger sister behind alone. Her strength might seem all right, but she was unable to do anything to those at the Great Void Realm. Furthermore, they had a feud with the Myriad Fey Alliance a few days ago. If she were to die, she would truly be worried for Ling Longyue. Furthermore, Ling Longyue was someone who loved to stir up trouble. It's best if that's the case. I'm really worried that you might one day take things too hard and head there. Lin Xian shook his head secretly. He was also very worried. That won't happen. Linglong Shui said nonchalantly. That's good. I'm leaving. I wanted to freeload a meal from you, but now, you won't even let me have a meal. You even want me to cook for you. Sigh, I'm sad. I'm leaving. Following that, Lin Xian left. Chapter 606. Tomorrow was an important day. The 2 major potions would be on sale. At the same time, it was also Lin Xian and Linglong Shui's first date alone. For some reason, he was looking forward to the latter. The former was obviously more important. Perhaps it was because Lin Xian was not worried that the business would be bad. The next morning, Lin Xian and Lin Ye both woke up early. They were quite excited, especially Lin Ye. She was even more nervous than Lin Xian. Lin Xian had thrown such a big business to her. She was afraid that she would not do well. Morning, little fairy. Lin Xian yawned as he walked out. He was not used to living without Ling Ying. Lin Ye had already prepared breakfast. It was only 6 o'clock. The sky was still dark outside. After all, it was late autumn. It was already November. Sometimes, it would even snow in November. Let's eat breakfast. After that, we'll go take a look at the store. Lin Xian nodded and sat there. Lin Ye had already prepared everything. I wonder how the business will be. Lin Ye was worried. Lin Xian smiled. What do you think it will be? Lin Ye said, there should be a lot of people, but I'm not sure how many. Hopefully, it will achieve the desired effect. Don't worry. If there aren't many people, I'll cut off my head. Lin Xian smiled. Although he was nervous, he was not nervous. If such a thing did not attract many people, then the game would be over. That was impossible. Okay, I'll go change first. Lin Ye was so nervous that she did not have the appetite to eat. She hurried back to her room. Lin Xian rolled his eyes. After about a minute, Lin Xian quietly walked over. Lin Ye was not wary of Lin Xian. She closed the door but did not lock it. She opened it with a light twist, and then, ah! Lin Ye's scream was heard. Ding! Felt Lin Ye's shyness. Prince Charming points plus 500,000. Ding. Did something bad. Prince Charming points plus 1 million. These Prince Charming points were a bit exciting. Get out. Quickly get out. Lin Ya's face was red as she covered herself with her clothes. This scoundrel. Lin Xian grinned. Hee hee, little fairy, we don't have a third wheel like Ling Ying. No, get out of here. Lin Ya said. Hey. Lin Xian snickered, then closed the door and walked out. Lin Ya let out a long sigh. What was she going to do? This scoundrel was getting more and more impudent. He clearly knew that she was changing and yet he still came in. Although they had done it very much before, but no matter how many times they did it, she would still be nervous and shy. Lin Xian was deliberately teasing Lin Ya. She wouldn't get angry anyway. Moreover, she got more than 1 million Prince Charming points. Now that Lin Xian used more Prince Charming points, her Prince Charming points increased. This was good news. After 2 minutes, he ran over again. Xiao Xian Yu. Lin Ya covered herself. Her face that had just slightly recovered reddened again. Ding. Felt Lin Ya's shyness. Prince Charming points plus 100,000. Little fairy, hurry up. Otherwise, the breakfast will get cold. Lin Xian grinned and reminded her. I know. Lin Ya lowered her head and whispered. I'll give you 5 more minutes. If you don't come out in 5 minutes, I'll personally help you choose your clothes. Lin Xian smiled and walked away after saying that. It really worked. 3 minutes later, Lin Ya walked out in a very beautiful office lady uniform, looking like a strong woman. Of course, her face was still red. You're not allowed to dress so beautifully in the future, Lin Xian said. Ah! Lin Ya was stunned. You're my little fairy. You're only allowed to dress so beautifully in front of me. You can wear normal clothes in front of others. Lin Ya. Although it was very domineering, Lin Ya was inexplicably happy when she heard it. Perhaps this was what women were like. I know. The main thing is that today is very important. Lin Xian nodded. So I forgive you. Hurry up and eat. It's getting cold. You should change first. The food is getting cold. Okay. After the meal, the two of them walked out under the first glimmer of dawn. There were several Ya Xian group stores less than a kilometer away from them. After all, it was the city center. It was normal to open a few stores here. Lin Ya was very nervous along the way. Although it was said that the official sale would start at 8 o'clock, with the strength and preciousness of this medicine, it was normal for people to line up early, afraid that it would be sold out. Therefore, she was worried that if this scene did not happen, it would really be a failure. At this time, there were not many people on the road. It was different from summer. When they walked to the street, the scene in front of them made Lin Ya slightly stunned. On the entire huge street, many of the other stores were not open yet. Only the breakfast stores were open. But even so, it was a relatively quiet time. The entire street was densely packed with people. How many people could a prosperous street accommodate? There were tens of thousands of people, but it was almost full now. No shop would have such a scene when it was about to open. Even if it was a supermarket opening and there were free eggs, there would only be a few dozen people. It would never be like this. Lin Ya opened her small mouth. Lin Xian smiled and said, they must have all come to line up in advance to buy. Lin Ya then showed a surprised expression. Originally, she expected to be satisfied with thousands of people lining up. But at this time, it had reached the scene of tens of thousands of people lining up. It was simply too exaggerated. Some reporters were also very concerned about the effect of the opening day. They had already come early to film. When they saw this scene, they were also surprised. But after thinking about it, it seemed to be normal. After all, if the sales of these two medicines did not achieve such a situation, it would be a little difficult to say. It's very successful. Murong Qing was also very concerned. She had come early and was very satisfied to see this scene. Then, She saw the two people on the street and walked over with a smile. Not bad. In half an hour, I'm afraid the surrounding streets will be full. Lin Xian smiled and said, Sure enough, we can earn money by following Boss Lin. Morong Qing smiled. Let's go and see the other stores. The other stores naturally had the same scene. It could be considered to have broken the record of this industry. Those people held their ID cards and were ready to move. They were very nervous, afraid that they would not be able to get it if they were late. They did not know how many medicines were on sale now. The streets of Lin and city that had Art Xian Group stores presented an unprecedented spectacular scene. Not far away, Liao Jian saw this scene and his face sank. Humph. I want to see if you can open for business normally. Chapter 607. Taking a step back, the more he thought about it, the angrier he got. He was the one who sold the skyscraper, and he was the one who personally found the factories. The store was also set up by his connections. It could be said that he had done more than half of the business for the Art Xian Group. Damn it! It turned out that he had been tricked by them. Honey trap. Damned honey trap. Motherf asterisk cur. Although he knew that if he wasn't a pervert, he wouldn't have been tricked. However, with his status, if this were to spread, his reputation would be ruined. Most importantly, he was very angry. He had been tricked by a brat. Lin Xian and the others had visited almost all of the shops. Everywhere they went, there was a sea of people waiting for the shops to open. At this moment, Lin Xian's phone rang. Got it. Lin Xian put down his phone. What's wrong? Linya looked at Lin Xian and asked. Lin Xian stretched his body and said, Someone is jealous and came to cause trouble. At this moment, in the center of Lin and city, outside their biggest store, uninvited guests were attracted. Scram, scram, scram. All of you, scram. A group of menacing men with machetes in their hands walked through the crowd in an aggressive manner. Who are you? We're queuing here to buy medicine. What does it have to do with you? A resident from Tianhua City couldn't stand such a scene and said with dissatisfaction. Oh, you still don't know who we are? The leader of the group, a man with a scar on his face, laughed mockingly. Go, let him know who we are. Yes, Brother Tian. Then, two men walked over with a cold smile and knocked him down with a punch in front of the crowd. Then, they kicked the resident on the ground until he was covered in wounds. Be careful in the future. This is Brother Tian, the right-hand man of the Azura Palace's White Tiger Hall. Do you think you can point fingers at him? Then those people glanced at the crowd and said, Get lost. They're from the Azura Palace. Did the Art Xian Group offend the Azura Palace? That can't be right. I remember that the Ya Xian Group only came here half a month ago. They have been preparing for their grand opening all this while. It's impossible for them to have a conflict with the Azura Palace, right? From what I remember, although the Azura Palace is quite strong, they usually don't gather people to cause trouble. Could it be that there really was a conflict? It's hard for a strong dragon to suppress a local snake. What's more, the Art Xian Group isn't a strong dragon. They might be in big trouble today. Who cares, as long as we can buy the potions. Li Tianheng carried the baseball bat and walked straight to the entrance of the Art Xian Group store that had yet to open. The Azura Palace was the local tyrant. Such an existence existed in almost every city. Tianhua City was no exception. However, the development of Tianhua City was very ordinary. After all, it was the most border city. Not many people were willing to invest in establishing a force there. However, Lin and city was different. The Azura Palace was a force. It was one of the more powerful forces aside from the three major forces. Of course, it wasn't as grand as the three major forces, but it wasn't small either. The Azura Palace was involved in more than a dozen cities, and the total number of members of the Azura Palace was over 10 million. Although 10 million might not seem like a lot, it was important to note that the Azura Palace was an independent force. They would not risk their lives to protect the human race like the other three major forces. No one would care what they did, and no one would say anything about it. They were an independent force. In short, the Azura Palace was a force that Lin Xian wanted to establish. The Azura Palace had already been established, and its scale wasn't small. Lin Xian hadn't even been established yet. He had only just started his own company. In the 5 great empires, there were many forces similar to the Azura Palace. However, if one wanted to establish one, it would be very abnormal. In short, a force like the Azura Palace, in terms of financial resources and overall strength, wouldn't lose to any of the 8 major families of Chengdu. However, they were all independent forces. The 3 major forces allowed such a force to exist. Just like the 8 major families of Chengdu, if one had the ability, then one could establish one. Of course, there was one condition, and that was that one couldn't harm the human race. They couldn't collude with the demon race. As for the rest, they could do whatever they wanted, as long as they didn't commit any crimes. To be able to establish a force like the Azura Palace in this era was, to be honest, very powerful. Therefore, when they saw the Azura Palace looking for trouble with the Art Xian group, they were quite worried. The 3 major forces really wouldn't care about this kind of trouble, unless it caused some kind of impact, or if someone reported it. Anyway, as long as no lives were lost, nothing would happen. Especially at this time, the 3 major forces were busy with construction and the situation outside of Lin and City. Although they were very concerned about the Art Xian group's sales of medicine, they had clearly stated that they wouldn't cooperate with any single force. Therefore, they could only rely on their own ability to purchase the medicine. Li Tianheng, one of the 4 hall masters of the Azura Palace. What kind of identity did he have? In terms of financial resources, he might not be as good as the boss of Lin and City, Liao Jian. However, in terms of power, he was an existence that even Liao Jian had to curry favor with. The 4 hall masters of the Azura Palace had an even more honorable status. Coincidentally, Lin and City was their headquarters. It was rumored that the hall master of the White Tiger Hall of the Azura Palace was guarding Lin and City. The other 3 halls were respectively developing their forces in the other 3 cities. As for the boss of the Azura Palace, he was probably an existence even more mysterious than the 8 major families of Chengdu. Anyway, not many people had seen him before. Bang! Li Tianheng held a baseball bat in his hand. His strength surged and he directly smashed the door of the art courtyard store that had yet to open for business. The glass shattered and the door was broken. Ah! Seeing this scene, screams came from the surroundings. He really did it. What kind of conflict did he have with the art courtyard group? Li Tianheng said angrily while smashing the door. Brother who said that in the future, all companies of this scale in Lin and City will have to report to the Azura Palace. The establishment of the art courtyard group has greatly impacted the Azura Palace's industrial chain. They didn't even consult with the Azura Palace before establishing a store here. Therefore, brothers, smash it. Of course, that wasn't the truth. It was just that he had received a huge sum of money from someone. A refugee from Tianhua City had established a corporation, and he was only a little rich. He wouldn't be afraid of such a corporation. Furthermore, the Azura Palace's White Tiger Hall's hall master, Brother Tiger, was Liao Jian's close business partner. Since he had given Li Tianheng money, it was reasonable for him to help. Most importantly, he wasn't afraid of anything. The 3 major powers wouldn't easily interfere with them. Furthermore, as long as they didn't kill anyone, it was fine. I say, are you tired from smashing? If you are, take a rest. A voice came from the side. Chapter 608. Many people were afraid, but after thinking about it, they realized that it wasn't targeted at them, so they didn't need to be afraid. Moreover, they didn't want to run away, they still wanted to buy potions. Hearing the sudden sound, everyone looked over. Lin Xian put his hands in his pockets and looked at the group of people with a mocking expression. Lin Xian swore that ever since he came to Lin and City, he had never offended anyone. Now that these people were here to cause trouble for him, no matter how stupid he was, he knew that someone must have ordered them to do so. Even if he didn't offend anyone, the person who ordered them to cause trouble was either his competitors or someone who was jealous of him. Competitors. He had a monopoly in this industry, so there were no competitors. There were definitely people who were jealous of him, but Lin Xian thought of one person, Liao Jian. This guy must be unhappy. With his ability, it was easy for him to invite people to cause trouble. Of course, it could also be Ouyang Jing's group. As for who it was, Lin Xian didn't need to know. He only needed to deal with the people in front of him. Li Tianheng and the others also saw Lin Xian and the others. They directly ignored Lin Xian, and everyone's eyes were fixed on Lin Ye and Morong Qing. These two women were simply the best of the best. No wonder Liao Jian specially mentioned this matter. At first, he didn't think much of it. He didn't watch the press conference, so he didn't know about it. But today, after seeing them, he completely fell for them. She was King way more exquisite than any woman he had ever played with. Lin Ye saw the shop's door being smashed, and her charming face showed anger. Although the door being smashed wouldn't affect the business, no one was willing to see such a scene. You are the people in charge of the Art Pavilion Group? Li Tianheng looked at them, and it just so happened that he could look at the two beauties more directly. Behind him, the members of the Azura Palace followed closely. Morong Qing didn't panic at all. She didn't need to show up, so she let the men handle it. Lin Xian slowly walked towards them. His eyes swept across the crowd, and then fell on Li Tianheng. Azura Palace? Over the phone, Lin Xian had also received the news. He had been in Lin and City for half a month and had never had any dealings with the Azura Palace. However, Lin Xian naturally knew about the Azura Palace. How should he put it? Lin Xian was very concerned about it. Since he had started expanding his influence in Lin and City, and the Azura Palace was the local dragon of Lin and City, it meant that the Azura Palace would definitely become his stumbling block in the future. They would definitely face each other head-on, but who would have thought that the Azura Palace would come knocking on their door now? Of course, Lin Xian didn't have to guess to know that someone related to the Azura Palace must have asked them to come forward. Since you know they are from the Azura Palace, why do you still dare to steal our business? What do you think of my Azura Palace? Li Tianheng looked coldly at Lin Xian. I stole your King PI business. Everyone was dumbfounded. How could this Lin Xian curse like that? And it felt pretty good. Xiao Xian. When Lin Ye heard Lin Xian swearing, although she felt relieved, she didn't want Lin Xian to act like that in front of everyone. Li Tianheng's face suddenly darkened. You're courting death. Lin Xian mocked. You keep saying that my Xian Group is stealing your Azura Palace's business? Then let me ask you, my Xian Group only has one business right now, which is selling 2 great medicines. What kind of tyrant is your Azura Palace? You also sell medicines? You're selling *T. Then how is my Xian Group stealing your business? Can you make them stealing business? You're too embarrassed to say something like that, you idiot. Everyone, damn. This Lin Xian is that young man from Tianhua City who has repeatedly performed miraculous deeds, right? Isn't he a bit too stubborn? That's right, but what he said makes a lot of sense. Whether the Azura Palace is in this business or not, only the Xian Group can make these 2 great medicines in the entire continent. How could they possibly rush into the Azura Palace's business? They're definitely trying to stir up trouble. They might even be hired by someone who's jealous of them. How disgusting. I remember that the Azura Palace is doing pretty well. How did it become like this? Is it because the White Tiger Hall's hallmaster is in charge of Lin and City, and the boss of the Azura Palace isn't here? But although it's satisfying, the Xian Group is done for. They've just started and they've already provoked a colossus like the Azura Palace. The 3 major powers won't care about them. If the Azura Palace starts to suppress and stir up trouble, it'll be bad news for the Xian Group. Li Tianheng's face was extremely ugly. Good. You're the first person who doesn't put the Azura Palace in your eyes. Today, I'll let you see how terrifying the Azura Palace you've insulted is. As for your Xian Group, don't even think about starting your business today. Everyone, teach this blind thing a lesson. Yes, Brother Tian. Then, A dozen people walked over with a cold smile. Lin Xian swept his gaze over the group. Needless to say, this Azura Palace was quite something. The other three major powers had countless low-level warriors, but this Azura Palace only sent a dozen people, and more than half of them were in the Profound Heaven Realm. Was the Profound Heaven Realm so worthless now? Lin Xian was quite famous in Tianhua City. However, in Lin and City, he was just Fuzo. Some people had only heard of him, but didn't know much about him. They didn't care if it was true or not. They only cared about the famous experts in their own city. As far as they knew, this Lin Xian was only in the Profound Heaven Realm. Indeed, in the eyes of outsiders, Lin Xian was still in the Profound Heaven Realm. Only a few of them knew about the Lightning Tribulation Realm. The Azura Palace's recruitment criteria was to have at least the Profound Body Realm. That's why this Azura Palace was so famous. They were indeed quite strong. The weakest among them was in the Profound Body Realm. Although most of them were in the Profound Body Realm, in a certain aspect, the quality of the Azura Palace's members was higher than the three major powers. However, the difference in numbers was obvious. Warriors were allowed to fight, but they were not allowed to kill or cripple. That would be breaking the law. Linya, who was beside him, revealed a worried expression, while Lin Xian sneered. I don't know how terrifying the Azura Palace is. I only know that the people in front of me are a bunch of trash. Lin Xian didn't move, but his clothes fluttered in the wind. Then, everyone was shocked. The people in front of them had all disappeared. Following that, miserable screams came from afar. They looked over and saw that those people had all been sent flying to the other side. They fell from the sky, each of them holding their backs and butts, groaning in pain. Li Tianheng frowned. Chapter 609. Of course, he knew that this Lin Xian had the space attribute. But, how could he do this? His realm was probably not low. But so what if it was high? Look at what realm he was in. He was a 9-star Lightning Tribulation Realm Warrior. Azura Palace, is this all you've got? Lin Xian sneered. Don't be so arrogant. I'm just playing around. Li Tianheng's body exploded with energy, fixing Lin Xian on the spot. He was indeed the Hall Master's right-hand man. A high-level Lightning Tribulation Realm Warrior with the dark attribute was something. Lin Xian might not be able to defeat him in the dark. But, his dark attribute's purity was not full. During the day, the dark attribute's effect was very low. You dare to humiliate my Azura Palace? Today, I'll teach you a lesson and smash your shop. If I see you again in the future, I'll smash your shop every time I see you. After saying that, Li Tianheng rushed toward Lin Xian. But, why did he feel that he couldn't reach Lin Xian even though he was only 10 meters away? Morong Qing, who was behind Lin Xian, smirked. Time deceleration. No matter how fast he was, if time slowed down for him, everything would slow down for him. Lin Xian broke free from the fixed image and easily arrived in front of Li Tianheng. Bang! A punch landed directly on his nose. He saw it and wanted to defend himself. But, why did he feel so slow? Then, he fell to the ground and flew out. Lin Xian rushed over and stomped on Li Tianheng's body. You mother****. You still want to beat me every time you see me? Let me tell you, I'll beat you every time I see you. What the hell? You still want to smash my shop? I'm not going to cripple you. Azura Palace. You mother****. Everyone watched as Lin Xian crazily kicked Li Tianheng in front of everyone. What puzzled them the most was that something wasn't right. Logically speaking, Li Tianheng should be very strong. How could he be kicked into such a state by a brat in his early 20s? Moreover, they didn't see Li Tianheng retaliating at all. How could he not even be able to retaliate? This was Morong Qing's time attribute. She had forcefully slowed down Li Tianheng's time. In other people's eyes, nothing had changed. It was just that he had not punched back. However, for Li Tianheng, he had punched. Normally, a punch would only take 0.1 seconds. Why did it take him several seconds to raise his hand this time? He was dumbfounded. Then, he was beaten up. Li Tianheng had been kicked dozens of times by Lin Xian, and he was vomiting blood. He wanted to get up, but he couldn't. After Lin Xian was done kicking, he walked to the side. Everyone was dumbfounded. What was going on? Why didn't Li Tianheng have any room to fight back? Liao Jian, who was watching from afar, was in disbelief. How was this possible? He was quite clear about Li Tianheng's strength. He was an existence close to the law realm. How could he be beaten up like this? Or could it be that Lin Xian was stronger than him? That shouldn't be the case. Could it be that Lin Xian was in the law realm? Bullshit. However, in the next moment, he sneered. It didn't matter whether Li Tianheng had beaten up Lin Xian or destroyed the shops. The most important thing was that Lin Xian had beaten up Li Tianheng in front of everyone. At the same time, he had insulted the Azura Palace. Naturally, the Azura Palace had formed a grudge with this Lin Xian. Li Tianheng was nothing. Liao Jian had to curry favor with him. However, the main target was not him, but the person behind him, the Azura Palace's White Tiger Hall Master. If Li Tianheng didn't have the backing of the White Tiger Hall Master, he would be nothing. Even Liao Jian looked down on him. However, since he did, he had to curry favor with him. And now, this Lin Xian had formed a grudge with the Azura Palace. He believed that Li Tianheng couldn't defeat him. However, if the person behind Li Tianheng wanted to make a move against Lin Xian, not to mention Lin Xian, even the art courtyard building would be blown up. He admitted that these potions would be very popular. However, if they were restricted, there was no way for them to rise. At the same time, Morong Qing retracted her time attribute. Li Tianheng coughed up blood and crawled up from the ground. He was battered and exhausted. The arrogant and despotic appearance from before was nowhere to be seen. You're courting death. Li Tianheng pointed at Lin Xian. Slap. Lin Xian sent him flying with a slap. Who do you think you are? Lin Xian stepped on his body. Do you know who is behind me? I advise you. Kneel down and admit your mistake. Li Tianheng's expression was ferocious. Behind me? Isn't it just the Azura Palace? Let him come, I'll take him on. Lin Xian curled his lips. If you don't dare, then scram. Following that, Lin Xian exerted his strength and sent Li Tianheng flying. He crashed into the shop's entrance that was smashed by him. Li Tianheng screamed miserably as the pieces of glass pierced through the floor. The other members of the Azura Palace quickly ran over and saw this scene. Tian. Brother Tian. They quickly helped him up. Fuck. Prickly. Li Tianheng was covered in wounds. However, none of them were serious. All of them were external injuries. Even so, they still caused him great pain. Today, I, Li Tianheng, will be defeated here. However, I guarantee that within 7 days, your art courtyard group will become a pile of wasteland. Let's go. Li Tianheng gritted his teeth and said angrily, Don't be in such a hurry. At this moment, Lin Xian walked over like a demon. Li Tianheng's body trembled. It was completely subconscious. He was probably scared of being beaten up. What are you doing? Lin Xian curled his lips. He pointed at the door and said, You want to leave after smashing my shop's entrance? Don't you want to compensate me? Chi, Li Tianheng sneered. Go, give him 10,000 yuan. Lin Xian walked over and sent Li Tianheng flying with another slap. 10,000? Do you think I'm a beggar? 100 million. If you lose a single cent, I'll make you lose a leg. Everyone swallowed a mouthful of saliva. 100 million? Li Tianheng was about to collapse. However, his injuries were too severe and he had lost too much blood. You're extorting me. Heh, my shop's entrance is made of Armstrong polymeric glass. The cost is more than 10 million. Li Tianheng. Isn't this just a normal bulletproof glass? I can break it with just a little bit of strength. Polymeric glass? What about the remaining 90 million? You scared me. 90 million for mental damage. Li Tianheng, you're courting death. Slap. Lin Xian sent him flying with another slap. Then, he stepped on his finger. 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Crack. Then, everyone saw that his finger was crushed. A heart-wrenching scream was heard. Then, it's your arm. Lin Xian stepped on his wrist. Still 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. I'll give. Li Tianheng was really scared. Chapter 610. What the hell? How could he, Lin Xian, be bullied so easily? Li Tianheng trembled as he used his other hand to transfer 100 million to Lin Xian. When Lin Xian saw the transfer of 100 million, the corner of his mouth couldn't help but curl up slightly. The surrounding people were all stunned and convinced. In Lin and City, no one dared to provoke the Azura Palace. Other than the 3 major powers, anyone with money or power would have to bow down. After all, this wasn't Tiandu. In a city like this, encountering such a powerful force, everyone would be proud to join the Azura Palace. Even the young people in Lin and City felt that the Azura Palace was better. They were working hard to improve their strength so that they could join the Azura Palace. However, they didn't expect that someone below the Hall Master of the Azura Palace would be beaten to such a state. Maybe he was powerful now, but they were worried about the future. What if the Hall Master of the White Tiger Hall came personally? What should they do? I, Li Tianheng, will remember what happened today. Just you wait. Let's go. Li Tianheng covered his hand and quickly ran away. 100 million was the money he received from Liao Jian. He didn't expect that he would be beaten up and lose the money. Remember to come often. Lin Xian greeted them with a smile. Those people suddenly staggered. Lin Xian looked at the time and said to the staff, "Help me clear the door." Then, he looked at the surrounding people and said, "Everyone, since the Art Pavilion Group dares to establish itself here, it means that we are not afraid of the Azura Palace. You can treat my words as boasting, but it's not important. In 20 minutes, the shops will be officially opened. I don't have any other requests, but as you can see, the line is already a few streets away. I only hope that everyone can buy in an orderly manner. Also, don't panic, the 2 types of medicine are enough for now." 20 minutes later, more than 10 shops were officially opened. The crowd rushed in. Lin Xian and Lin Ye nodded slightly when they saw this scene. Basically, we have confirmed that the 2 types of medicine are indeed popular. We can start expanding. Murong Qing said to Lin Xian. Lin Xian nodded. Then let's expand to the surrounding cities first. Little Fairy, I'll leave it to you. Lin Ye nodded. No problem. Then I won't care about anything. It's so comfortable. Lin Xian stretched and walked away. Murong Qing and Lin Ye looked at each other helplessly. With such a beginning, anyone would pay close attention to it, but this guy just ignored it? Just like that, he became his hands-off manager. Oh, that's right. Something like this happened today as well. It's enough to see that people are jealous of us. The Art Shen Group must be equipped with a complete and mature security system, which is enough to resist the malicious provocation of stronger martial artists. Murong Qing said to Lin Ye. Lin Ye pondered for a moment. That's natural, but that requires a relatively powerful martial artist. Which powerful martial artist would be willing to work as a security guard? This was the key point. Which martial artist would be willing to work in the service industry? They all used other means, their own strength, and fighting outside to earn money. The so-called service industry was something that ordinary people did. It was simple. No one with a noble status would be willing to wash dishes for others. In the eyes of those martial artists, they were noble. How could a dignified martial artist with such strength do such a thing? This is a problem. Let Lin Xian solve it. Lin Xian had just asked Lu Yufan and Yi Yao to play, and then he received this news from Murong Qing. Lin Xian also had a headache. What's wrong? Is the business of the Art Xian Group not as good as expected? Lu Yufan asked. That's impossible. This kind of business must be very, very popular. Yi Yi also said. Lin Xian shook his head. No, it's just that some people are jealous and want to cause trouble. They need some security guards. But think about it, which martial artist would be willing to work as a security guard? For example, the members of the Azura Palace who came to cause trouble were members of the Azura Palace. They were free and willing. They were not security guards guarding a place. This was also related to Lin Xian's power. If he had power, he wouldn't have to worry about these things. Lu Yufan didn't like to use his brain the most. He rested his chin on his hands and looked at Lin Xian like a fool. Yi Yi slowly swirled the drink in her cup with a straw. Actually, if we can't find them for now, we can also scare them, right? Yi Yi suddenly said. Lin Xian looked at her. What do you mean? Yi Yi said softly. I think that with the Art Xian Group's current ability, it can easily reach the level where the Art Xian Group's voice can be trusted. It can simply tell the outside world how powerful the security system of the Art Xian Group is through some simple method. That's right. Lin Xian's eyes lit up. For a company as big as ours, this isn't a rare thing. Although they all know that martial artists are rarely willing to work as security guards, the size of the company is right there. Even if it's fake, it can still scare them for a while. I'll think of something else. Lin Xian said in a low voice. Of course. Lin Xian. Don't you have a good relationship with the three major powers? You can ask the three major powers for help. Lin Xian shook his head. That won't do. I'll owe them a favor. Moreover, the three major powers probably wouldn't want their members to do this for the sake of their members. If it really doesn't work, I can ask my father to ask a few people to protect us for a while. Yeah, I can do that too. Lu Yufan suddenly said. The Yi family and the Lu family were big families in Tianhua City. Although they had moved to Lin and City, they had a lot of resources. They naturally had some arcane body realm and mystic heaven realm cultivators. They might even have some thunder tribulation realm cultivators. Lin Xian looked at them. Yi Yi said, They're our family. Lin Xian, you've helped us so much. I believe that my father and Uncle Lu will agree. But it can't be for too long. Lin Xian nodded. Okay, I think this is the most reliable. When the time comes, I'll give the Yi family and the Lu family 2 types of medicine for free. No need. You helped me increase my attribute power last time. It's already very precious. My father hasn't thought of a way to thank you. He hates owing people favors the most, especially twice. Yi Yi smiled. Okay, then I'll have to trouble you. Hee, it's no trouble at all. As long as you bring us out to play often, it'll be fine. I know that you're very busy with many things, Chief Lin. Do you think you can fulfill our small request? Lu Yufan said with a smile. Of course. Get a room and wait for me tonight. The 2 girls. Stinky Hooligan. Chapter 6:11. Tonight was a very important night for Lin Xian. Tonight was the first time he went out on a date with Linglong Shui alone. He had to make good use of this opportunity. Linglong Shui's favorability towards him had almost reached the 50 favorability level. Of course, Lin Xian knew that at this level, even if the favorability level reached 60 or even 70, his confession might not necessarily succeed. He needed an opportunity, and the opportunity to confess to this kind of girl was very important. Lin Xian didn't plan to confess so directly. He wanted to cultivate their relationship tonight first. Others were in a terrible fix over finding a girlfriend, but Lin Xian was in a terrible fix over which one, how to woo, and how to woo a beauty of this level was a little flustered. Linglong Shui, Linglong Yu, and even Bing Lingyue had all returned to a relatively peaceful state of life. It had been many years, and it was rare for them to enjoy such a peaceful state of life. The current demonic beast domain was a very dangerous place. Tianhua City had just fallen, and even an idiot knew how many powerful demonic beasts were still outside. Now wasn't a good time to go to the demonic beast domain to farm. Lin Xian was also quite satisfied. He had already reached the 5-star Thunder Tribulation realm. But how should he put it? Although the difference between each major realm was like the difference between heaven and earth, everyone knew that the true difference between the two realms was the law realm and the domain realm. The reason was actually very simple. Aside from a very heaven-defying increase in strength, once one reached the law realm, they would be able to comprehend the law. As for what kind of law it was hard to say. However, it didn't mean that one could comprehend it after reaching the law realm. There were even some people who didn't manage to comprehend the law after reaching the law realm. There were quite a few of them, but basically, as long as one's talent was normal, one would be able to comprehend their own law after reaching the law realm. It was the same for the domain realm. Some people could even comprehend the law of time, the law of space, and the domain realm. In other words, even if one didn't have the space attribute, it didn't mean that one didn't have the space attribute. There was also a chance to comprehend the law of space and the domain realm, but they weren't attributes. This was something that needed to be emphasized. There was still a fundamental difference, and there were also differences in the effects. For example, if one had the domain realm, it might only have the effect of space imprisonment, but if one had the domain realm, as long as it was related to space, it could be released. There might even be a domain realm, and so on. In short, this was what Lin Xian was looking forward to. The sky gradually darkened. It was late autumn, and the sky started to darken at 6 o'clock. However, because of the large influx of Tianhua City citizens, there were millions more citizens in Lin and City. Moreover, the citizens of Tianhua City weren't familiar with this place, so there were a lot of people on the streets. It was quite lively. Linya felt quite fulfilled. She was still busy in the art pavilion building. After all, it was her first day, and she had to personally take care of the accounts of the major shops. Ling Ying and Han Chushue were also looking around this place that was also a new city to them. Miao Xiaomiao began to reorganize the Wind Mercenary Group. There were many things that needed to be done. Wang Xintong continued to improve herself, and Xiao Runing became her mentor. In short, everyone seemed to be quite busy at this moment. Only Lin Xian was very free. Lin Xian quietly went to Ling Longshui and the others' new residence. At this moment, Ling Longyue was in a bad mood in the room. "Sister, why did you agree to go out with that bad guy Lin Xian?" Ling Longyue pouted and looked at Ling Longshui, who had just put on her coat. Ling Longshui seemed to have specially dressed up today. She was very beautiful. She had such a noble temperament and was so beautiful. As the saying goes, clothes make the man, and horses make the saddle. Actually, clothes made a lot of difference for both men and women, especially for especially beautiful girls. A pure white turtleneck sweater was the lining. To be honest, a beauty with such a temperament would look the best in pure white clothes. The outer coat was a long, furry brown coat. Coupled with Ling Longshui's tall figure, it really looked good. After all, the weather was cold. Although she wasn't afraid of the cold, she couldn't wear cool clothes when there were people wearing cotton-padded jackets outside, right? However, Ling Longyue was extremely unhappy. How could her sister go out alone with that bad guy Lin Xian? Woo. She felt that Lin Xian wasn't good enough for Ling Longshui. However, Ling Longshui had agreed. Although she didn't want to admit it, in Ling Longyue's eyes, her sister would always be the most beautiful and outstanding girl. Then there was Sister Bing. In fact, she was a sister complex. It was just that she didn't show it because of her pride. However, during this period of time, the relationship between the sisters had improved a lot. Ling Longyue could even speak her own thoughts. As a bystander, Bing Lingyue saw it clearer than anyone else. However, she didn't care. She also didn't give any suggestions. She felt that anything was fine. She was more relaxed. However, her feelings towards Lin Xian were also very strange. Although she didn't talk much and didn't communicate much with Lin Xian, she cared a lot about Lin Xian. Especially after that time when Lin Xian and Ling Ying's musical ended, the feelings in her heart became stronger. She always felt that there was a connection between her and Lin Xian. However, this connection was lacking something. She couldn't explain it. In short, she felt that Lin Xian was quite good. Even a girl like Ling Long Shui was very outstanding. However, she didn't feel that there was anything wrong with her being together with Lin Xian. Ling Long Shui put on her coat and said faintly, "You have to keep your promise. Moreover, Lin Xian helped us so much." "I know, but..." Ling Longyue pouted her little mouth again. Bing Lingyue rubbed Ling Longyue's little head and smiled. "Do you think that Lin Xian can take advantage of your sister?" "Of course not. But that big bad guy is really bad." Ling Longyue didn't understand why. Her sister was obviously very powerful. However, for some reason, she felt that Lin Xian could take advantage of her. Maybe he was too bad. "How am I bad?" At this time, Lin Xian opened the door and walked in. He stared at Ling Longyue. Lin Xian, this shameless guy, also got the keys to their house. "Humph. You know very well whether you're bad or not." Ling Longyue stared back at him without any fear. "I brought you out to play and eat delicious food every day in vain. It turns out that I'm a bad guy in your heart. Alright, I've worked hard for nothing. It turns out that what I did was unnecessary. In that case, I won't bring you out to eat delicious food in the future. You can go by yourself." Ling Longyue. Chapter 612. But, to Ling Longyue, this was an extremely frightening threat. "Humph." She snorted and chose to remain silent. She couldn't go without food. Lin Xian then looked at Ling Long Shui. "Hee, Xiao Linglong, you're so beautiful today." Ding. You can feel Ling Longyue's jealousy and unhappiness. Adonis points plus 100,000. Ling Long Shui was already immune to Lin Xian's flirtatious words. But Ling Longyue was not happy. How dare he tease her sister in front of her? Oh! Kill him! Kill him! Bing Lingyue did not have much of an emotional reaction. She just smiled and watched them play. "Bastard! You're not allowed to look." Ling Longyue gritted her teeth and glared at Lin Xian. "Lin Xian! Damn! Now it's none of your business whether I look or not." Ling Long Shui did not have much of a reaction. "Let's go." "Alright, little Bing Bing and you little brat, let's go. We won't bring you guys along. Wahahaha. This is fun." Bing Lingyue smiled. Then, the two of them walked out under Ling Longyue's resentful gaze. "Sister Bing, look at this big bad guy taking my sister away. What should we do?" Ling Longyue pouted her lips and muttered. "You won't even be taken advantage of by him. Why are you worried that your sister will be taken advantage of by Lin Xian? The main thing is that bad guy has too many tricks up his sleeve. Plus, even though my sister is strong, she doesn't know much about the human race. She might be taken advantage of by him." There was probably another reason, and that was that this girl's favorability towards Lin Xian was not low. She seemed to be a little jealous. Even his elder sister was jealous. This damn charm. Bing Lingyue looked at Ling Longyue and laughed in her heart. "If you can't, you can follow them secretly if you're worried." Ling Longyue's eyes flashed. Yes. Your sister Bing will follow me. Do I still need to follow?" Ling Longyue then happily held Bing Lingyue's hand. Let's go. We can't let that bad guy Lin Xian take advantage of big sister. Remember, don't let them find out. They'll do their thing, and you'll do yours." Okay. In fact, Ling Longyue was thinking the same thing. She was just too embarrassed to say it out loud. How could Bing Lingyue not know what she was thinking? Then help her say it. Then, the two girls quietly followed Lin Xian and the others. Of course, it wasn't really tailing them. Wherever they went to play, they would follow. They wouldn't pay attention to them the whole time. They would play by themselves. Humph. If others went out to play, why couldn't they go out too? Of course, that was a matter for the future. At this moment, Lin Xian and Ling Long Shui had just arrived downstairs. It was already dark outside, but it was very lively. "Where are we going?" Ling Long Shui put her hands in the pockets of her coat. The wind was a little strong, causing her hair to dance slightly. She was really beautiful. This woman was simply a masterpiece of heaven and earth. Where do you want to go? Lin Xian smiled and asked. Didn't you ask me out? I'll just follow you. Ling Long Shui didn't care. In her heart, she was just keeping her promise. She was just giving Lin Xian a chance to pursue her. But a chance was a chance. If she didn't agree, then she didn't agree. Anyway, she was determined in her heart. But perhaps she herself didn't quite understand her own heart, because to be honest, she was actually looking forward to going out to play. She didn't realize it herself, and she didn't even realize how high her favorability towards Lin Xian had reached. In this world, Lin Xian was the second man who could make her like this. The first was her father. Then let's go to Rose Heaven. Lin Xian smiled and said. Ling Long Shui frowned slightly. Isn't that a hotel? Eat. Ahem. Lin Xian nodded. Yes, eat. If they didn't eat, Lin Xian would rather go to the hotel to do what he needed to do. But I'm not very hungry right now. Ling Long Shui thought and said. Then I'll take you to a very interesting place. Yes. Let's go. To the casino. Lin Xian smiled and said. To be honest, he had never been to such a place. The protagonists in TV dramas and novels went there to play. He felt that it was quite interesting. Lin and City also had such a large casino. Lin Xian also wanted to go there to have some fun. Gambling? Ling Long Shui asked. Yes, the three of you should have spent most of your money, right? Yes. I guess you don't want to accept my favor and take my money, right? Then go and earn some money yourself. It's a good way to have some fun. Okay, but I don't think it's interesting. Ling Long Shui said. Lin Xian's lips curled. We'll know if it's interesting or not when we get there. To be honest, anything that Ling Long Shui and the others hadn't experienced should be interesting to them. Lin Xian also believed that they should have some fun tonight. Wait. Lin Xian called out to Ling Long Shui. Yes. Give me your hand. Lin Xian said to Ling Long Shui. Ling Long Shui really believed Lin Xian. She reached out her hand from the pocket of her coat. Then, Lin Xian directly interlocked his fingers with hers. Ling Long Shui, what are you doing? She subconsciously shook off Lin Xian's hand. My hand is so cold. Your hand must be very warm in your pocket. Lin Xian said, weakly. Then put it in your pocket. Lin Xian then spread out his hand. My pocket is too shallow. I can't put my hand in it. Why don't you let me put my hand in yours? Get lost. Ling Long Shui said lightly and then turned around to leave. Lin Xian shrugged his shoulders. Women are so hard to get. Ling Long Yu and Bing Lingyue just happened to come down and saw this scene. Crack. The can of Sprite in Ling Long Yu's hand was crushed. Bing Lingyue secretly shook her head. Sister Bing, look at him. He just came down and he's already taking advantage of my sister. I'm going to kill him. You promised me not to let them find out. Bing Lingyue said. Oh, okay. Big bad guy. Ding. Sensing Ling Long Yu's displeasure. Adonis points plus 200,000. Ding. Sensing Ling Long Yu's jealousy. Adonis points plus 200,000. The system notification came out of nowhere and Lin Xian was slightly stunned. Obviously, he knew that Ling Longyue must have seen it, which was why the system notification appeared. He looked back, but didn't see anyone. She must be hiding. Lin Xian smirked. This was interesting. Not only could he bring Ling Long Shui out alone, but if she did well, she would probably contribute a lot of Adonis points tonight. Tonight would be a wonderful night. Chapter 613. Lin Xian brought Ling Long Shui to a place called the Men Ao Casino. The entire casino was underground. Of course, this did not mean that it was illegal. On planet Aqua Blue, gambling was not illegal. It was only illegal if you did something illegal while gambling. It was your own business whether you gambled or not. It was also your own business whether you gambled until your family was ruined or if you jumped off a building. In this era, there were so many beasts out there and humans were in danger. No one had the time to care about this kind of thing. As long as your casino was legal and didn't have sex, there wouldn't be a problem. The entire AO casino was underground. The area of each floor was unimaginably large. It was located under a 5-star hotel. Why did we come to a hotel again? Linglong Shui saw Lin Xian bring her to the entrance of the hotel and frowned. She had stayed in the human world for quite some time. Of course, she knew that a hotel was not only a place to eat, but also a place to sleep. So when Lin Xian said that he would bring her to gamble and then brought her to a place like this, she couldn't help but overthink. Because this is a casino. Lin Xian said with a smile. Linglong Shui frowned. She felt like she had been cheated. Was it because this guy always cheated girls? Let's go. You're not hungry now. I can't bring you here to eat, right? Lin Xian smiled. Don't we have a room? Linglong Shui mumbled. What? You want to get a room with me? You should have said so earlier. Let's go. Lin Xian then pulled Linglong Shui's hand and dragged her into the hotel. Linglong Shui. She shook off Lin Xian's hand and said, "That's not what I meant." She was saying that not only could they come to the hotel to eat, they could also get a room. Then this guy wanted to drag her to get a room. Bastard. He definitely had bad intentions. Ding. You have sensed Ling Longyue's displeasure. Adonis points plus 100,000. Sister Bing, look at this big bad guy. He's trying to get physical with my sister. Ling Longyue pouted unhappily as she said from behind. Bing Lingyue smiled. I've long known that he was up to no good. I exist to protect my sister. Ling Longyue finally found a reason for herself. On the other side, Lin Xian scratched his head. Sorue, I misunderstood. I thought you were lonely. Linglong Shui. She wanted to beat him up. Then why did you come to this hotel? Gambling. Why would I lie to you? Just follow me. Then, Lin Xian walked in with Linglong Shui. When the two of them walked in, the people in the hall all looked over and were shocked. For a girl like Linglong Shui, how should one put it? There was no other girl who could attract more attention than her. Although there were many beautiful girls around Lin Xian, if one were to disregard everything else, Linglong Shui and Bing Lingyue were the ones that could drive men crazy. Lin Xian brought Linglong Shui into the elevator and pressed the button for basement 1. Alright, in a place like a casino, usually a guy brings a girl in and the girl asks to be the guy's girlfriend. Lin Xian started to talk nonsense to Linglong Shui. Since she didn't know about these things, it didn't matter if she believed him or not. Then I'm not going. Linglong Shui said quietly. Lin Xian. Hey, I already said that I would bring you here to have fun. How can I do that? I didn't ask you to be my girlfriend. We're just putting on an act, you know? It's not like we're doing anything. Only a couple can come to a place like this? Linglong Shui asked in surprise. Not necessarily. Either a guy comes by himself, or a couple comes by themselves. If you don't believe me, you can go in and take a look. In a place like a casino, it was either a guy or a girl. Most of the time, it was the rich nouveau riche who brought their little lovers or girlfriends. Okay. The elevator door opened, and in front of them was an unusually chaotic place. The entire space was much bigger than Lin Xian imagined. It definitely wasn't as big as the first floor of a 5-star hotel. It was much bigger. There were all kinds of games in the space. A group of people gathered at each table. Some were gambling, some were watching, and there were cheers and sighs. As Lin Xian expected, many people were smoking cigars and hugging beauties. See? Aren't they all men and women? Lin Xian said to Linglong Shui with a smile. Linglong Shui had never seen a place like this before. She just stood there and looked around with a frown. It's so messy. Lin Xian walked to her side. It's okay. This is the atmosphere you should have. If you don't want to be noisy, there should be some. The bottom 2 floors should be. I brought you here to give you a better understanding of our human world. Linglong Shui nodded slightly. Although this place was messy and there seemed to be all kinds of people here, Linglong Shui was really curious when she saw the passion radiating from these people. Was this so-called gambling really that magical? Could you really make people so excited? Then Lin Xian silently reached out his hand and hugged her slender waist. God. Too invincible. Ding. Hugging a big sister. Prince Charming is worth 500,000. Linglong Shui frowned and dodged to the side. She angrily looked at Lin Xian. What are you doing? Lin Xian said with a straight face, acting like a couple. Let me tell you, this is the requirement here. Look, I brought you here so you have to be a couple. Look at the other guys. Aren't they all hugging their girlfriends? Some are even sitting on their laps. Otherwise, they will be kicked out. Ding. Lying to a big sister. Prince Charming is worth 200,000. Ding. Feeling Linglong Yu's displeasure. Prince Charming is worth 1 million. That's right. Linglong Yu and Linglong Shui came together. When they came out of the elevator, they saw Lin Xian making a move on Linglong Shui. Linglong Yu was furious, but she held it in and hid in the crowd. Linglong Shui looked at Lin Xian suspiciously. Then, she glanced at the scene. It was just as Lin Xian said. If a guy and a girl looked like they were a couple, then they would be a girl with a girl or a guy with a guy. But you still can't get physical. Linglong Shui said and walked forward. She curiously looked at the different gambling tables. Because of Linglong Shui's appearance, many people in the casino had their attention on her. There was no lack of beauties here. But such a beauty was simply an existence that they had never seen before. But there was a man beside her. Chapter 614. Needless to say, Lin Xian quite enjoyed the envious and jealous gazes of these men. Although Linglong Shui was not his girlfriend, it was a matter of time. On the other side, Bing Lingyue naturally attracted the attention of the gamblers in the casino. But how should he put it? This AO casino had 3 basement levels. The first level was where Lin Xian and the rest were at. It was basically a gathering place for ordinary gamblers. That meant that they did not come from powerful families. The second basement level was a VIP level casino. It was filled with rich and powerful people. Only those who had at least 5 million could enter. The amount of money gambling there was much higher than the first basement level. As for the third basement level, it was a top-level casino. It was possible to gamble for tens of millions. It was very exaggerated. But to be honest, there were still many rich people in this era. Lin Xian was also clear about the 2 basement levels. Of course, he had to go there. But he had to go slowly. It was like playing a game. He had to take Linglong Shui through the levels first. On the first basement level, most of the people had evil intentions but no guts. Although they were stunned by Linglong Shui, they did not have much courage. But there were still quite a lot of hooligans. Do you see? The way these people look at you. Lin Xian whispered to Linglong Shui. Linglong Shui was already used to it. I have a way to make them not pay attention to you so much. We'll play our own game. What? Linglong Shui asked. Pretend to be my girlfriend. Otherwise, we'll be kicked out. Lin Xian reached out his hand again. Linglong Shui subconsciously avoided it. No. Then it's fine if we hold hands, right? Otherwise, they'll kick us out. Linglong Shui also felt that this place was quite novel. Holding hands. Actually, it didn't seem like a big deal. Seeing that Linglong Shui did not say anything, Lin Xian thought that it was a silent agreement. He expressed it for her. Then, he reached out and held Linglong Shui's soft hand. TSK, TSK, TSK. Linglong Shui subconsciously struggled. But she could not break free. She glanced at Lin Xian and gave up. It didn't matter. It should be fine for friends to hold hands. Ding. You felt Ling Long Yu's extreme displeasure. Adonis points plus 1 million. Another system notification popped up. Lin Xian smirked. Of course, he knew that the two girls were following him. But if he did not say anything, who knew how many Adonis points Ling Long Yu would give him tonight? And now, Lin Xian was especially lacking in Adonis points. If the Art Xian group wanted to develop in the long term, they would need a large amount of Adonis points. Moreover, they could not only do this in the future. Lin Xian had already thought about it. After some time, he would let Lin Yi develop the industry that she was familiar with, which was special clothing. Previously, she did not want to develop it too much. She only sold it in Tianhua City. However, it was very popular. This time, she could also expand her ambitions. Lin Xian also believed that she would be welcomed by the people of the mainland. Lin Xian was already very satisfied. He was already holding hands with Ling Long Shui. In the past, he did not dare to think like this. Although it was a lie, if there was a first time, there would be a second time. In the future, he would be more familiar with it. Ling Long Shui would accept it more easily. This was the key. Towards this kind of girl, he could not be impatient. He really had to take it slow. Sister Bing, look at them. Ling Longyue saw Lin Xian and her sister walking around hand in hand. She was confused. They can't be. Ling Longyue bit her lips. Bing Lingyue smiled and said, how can it be so easy? Lin Xian must have lied to Ling Long. Bing Lingyue was a very smart woman. Otherwise, she would not have been able to become the empress. She looked at the men and women on the scene, their relationships, and the relationship between Ling Long Shui and Lin Xian. She could roughly guess what was going on. Needless to say, she guessed it correctly. Bad guy, I will go and tell my sister. Ling Longyue pouted and wanted to run over. But Bing Lingyue stopped her. Hey, we agreed not to disturb them. Ling Longyue then pulled her little head. She was unhappy, extremely unhappy. Beauty, can we get to know each other? At this moment, a few young men smiled and surrounded Bing Lingyue and Ling Longyue. It was shocking. Bing Lingyue's mouth had a familiar relaxed smile. I don't know you, thank you. It's just the two of you. It's boring. Come and play with us. We will help you win money. Get lost. Don't bother me. Ling Longyue was unhappy. Then, she suddenly released her aura. Those few people swallowed their saliva. Oh my God. She was an expert. On the other side, Lin Xian did not bear to let go of Ling Long Shui's hand. At first, Ling Long Shui was not used to it. Slowly, as Lin Xian explained some gambling methods to her, she gradually forgot that they were holding hands. Is this fun? Ling Long Shui's beautiful eyes looked at a huge gambling table with interest. This table, no, this type of table should have the most people around. Ling Long Shui had also been paying attention to it. It was a simple game of guessing the size of a sieve. Then, a group of people would place their bets. There wasn't much skill involved. It was basically just luck. However, because it was simple and most of the people here were relatively ordinary gamblers, guessing the size of a sieve became the most popular gambling method in the basement. You want to play this? Lin Xian asked with a smile. Anything is fine. Ling Long Shui said lightly. Then, we need to have chips. How much money do you have? Ling Long Shui took out her cell phone. None. She said it quite frankly. Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose. Then I'll lend you some, but you have to return double. Lin Xian said with a smile. Sure. To Ling Long Shui, this was a small matter. Would she be worried about money? Furthermore, Lin Xian had mentioned that he was not only bringing her to broaden her horizons, but also to let her earn money. She was at the Great Void Realm, an existence that was close to the Heavenly Tao Realm. How could she not earn the money of ordinary humans? Humph, impossible. So be it if I return double. Lin Xian then pulled Ling Long Shui's hand and ran in a particular direction. Help me exchange 1,000,000 chips. I want all of them to be 100,000. The beautiful woman bowed slightly and said, Mister, the amount on this floor is relatively small. Do you really intend to ask for 100,000 chips? Yeah. Please wait a moment. Not long after, she handed 10 yellow chips to Lin Xian. Lin Xian also transferred 1,000,000 to the casino. Lin Xian handed the 10 to Ling Long Shui. They were like 10 coins that could be held in one hand. Lin Xian said, This one is 100,000. But this isn't money. Ling Long Shui revealed a puzzled look. Lin Xian smiled. These are chips from the casino. They can be exchanged for money and are also exchanged with money. We play to win them and exchange them for money. I see. Chapter 6:15. The two of them walked to a table with fewer people. The people around them looked at the sieve with excitement. When the sieve was opened, some people were happy, while others were sad. Lin Xian then explained to Ling Long Shui, guessing big or small is the simplest gambling method. The dealer shakes the sieve, and everyone else can bet on it. For example, there are 3 sieves here. 1 to 9 is small, and 10 to 18 is big. You bet money on it. In the end, if you lose, your money will be gone. If you win, all the money in the prize pool will be given to you according to how much money you bet. Ling Long Shui nodded. Although she had never played it before, it was simple and easy to understand. So it's a game of pure luck? Ling Long Shui asked. Lin Xian nodded, and then shook his head. Not necessarily. Casinos are much more complicated than you think. There are many tricks in it. Luck is the most important thing in gambling, but there is a saying called manipulation. However, the first level of gambling like this isn't very expensive, so manipulation should be rare. Let's go and play. Ling Long Shui nodded, and then followed Lin Xian a little cautiously. When the people around saw the two people suddenly appear, they didn't think much of it at first. However, they were beauties. This kind of creature, especially a fairy whose beauty was unimaginable, was the most eye-catching existence in any situation. Many people stared at Ling Long Shui. She was used to these gazes. She was dressed very tightly, so she didn't worry about anything. The beautiful dealer was wearing a uniform. Originally, everyone's attention was on her. However, the appearance of Ling Long Shui caused everyone's attention to be focused on Ling Long Shui. She didn't wear a uniform, but her temperament and beauty crushed these beauties in the eyes of these people. God! So fairies really existed in this world. This wasn't an exaggeration at all. Ling Long Shui didn't feel much prettier than Ling Ying and Han Chuxue, but standing together, she was the brightest star. Maybe it was because of her temperament? Lin Xian didn't have to worry about anything. If these people could take advantage of her, then they wouldn't be Ling Long Shui. Back then, when Lin Xian flirted with her, Ling Long Shui wanted to kill him. Those who haven't bet on big or small, you can bet now. The beautiful dealer smiled and glanced at the crowd. Ling Long Shui was also very surprised. 10,000 chips, big. 5,000, big. 15,000 chips, small. One by one, the gamblers bet their luck. 5 or 10,000 didn't seem like much, but no matter big or small, the prize pool added up to more than 100 or 200,000. If they could win consecutively, they could actually win quite a lot. Of course, compared to millions or tens of millions, this was child's play. Lin Xian was only letting Ling Long Shui familiarize herself with the game for the time being. The others bet very casually. They were all experienced gamblers and knew that it was all about luck. It was useless to think about it, so they should be more decisive and leave it to fate. Ling Long Shui didn't understand. She held the chips in her hand and looked at the gambling table very seriously. She was very serious. Lin Xian couldn't help but laugh when he saw her like this. I say, wife, just play as you wish. Don't think about it, just bet wherever you want. Ling Long Shui directly and decisively ignored Lin Xian's way of addressing her. When the surrounding people heard this, they were all in a bad mood. This fairy-like girl was actually this little brat's girlfriend? Why? F***CK. Then, let's go big. Ling Long Shui threw in 10 chips. Lin Xian. The others were also dumbfounded. The entire table didn't even have 1,000,000 chips. You alone threw in 1,000,000 chips? Meanwhile, the gamblers who bet small were all excited. They might be able to earn tens of thousands of yuan in one round, but the other side who bet big had an extra million. If they lost, they would lose this much. If they won, they would win 1 or 200,000. Sorry. I bet too much. Lin Xian then took out 500,000 chips and placed them in Ling Long Shui's hand. If they didn't do well, they would lose 1,000,000. Lin Xian didn't expect to win now. He just wanted to let Ling Long Shui familiarize herself with the game. In any case, she would definitely win later. But this million should last for a while, right? Hey, what do you mean by this? If you bet, you bet. There's no reason to take it back. On the other side, a middle-aged man who bet small yelled unhappily. Yeah, that's right. There's no way to take it back. Put it back. If you can't afford to play, then don't play. Put it back. The gamblers who bet small were naturally unwilling to let their chips be taken away. If they won, they would lose half of their winnings. Ling Long Shui frowned slightly and looked at Lin Xian. She didn't quite understand. Then put it in. Lin Xian shrugged his shoulders. Then, Ling Long Shui threw in her chips. Open. Quickly open. The gamblers stared at the sieve cylinder impatiently. Then, the beautiful dealer opened the sieve cylinder. 332, small. Yeah. We've struck it big. The gamblers who bet small were all excited. We lost. Ling Long Shui looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian nodded. We lost 1,000,000. Oh. She nodded slightly and then bit her lip. Again. She seemed unwilling to admit defeat. She was a prideful person. Losing money over such a small matter made her very uncomfortable. Hey. Don't be so serious. You can't get addicted. Ling Long Shui looked at Lin Xian and nodded. Don't worry. I'll only do it this once. I just don't want to lose. Lin Xian also believed that this girl wouldn't get addicted to gambling. Beautiful girl, handsome guy, don't go. Continue. I believe you'll win it back. Yeah. Who can say for sure when it comes to luck, right? Maybe we'll win in the next round. The group of gamblers who won money tempted Lin Xian and the rest. Anyway, they only needed to bet. Even if they lost, they would only lose a little. If they won, they would win more if they bet more. This was human nature. What beautiful girl. What fairy. What they couldn't get wasn't as important as the benefits in front of them. The beautiful dealer looked at Lin Xian and said, You too, if you want to play a little bigger, you can go to the second basement floor. Lin Xian's lips curled up. No rush. My wife doesn't want to admit defeat. Then let's continue playing. Let's win back what we lost first. Then, help me get 1,000,000 chips. He could lose money, but he had to let Ling Long Shui feel good. Ding. Ling Long Shui's favorability towards you +1. Chapter 616. Although Ling Long Shui wasn't Lin Xian's girlfriend, he felt that this saying was right. How did he increase his favorability with her in the past? It was simply too difficult. But now, he agreed to continue playing with her and she increased her favorability with him. On the other side, Ling Longyue and Bing Lingyue felt that it was quite interesting and quickly joined the other side of the gambling table. Lin Xian exchanged another 1,000,000 chips. If he didn't play, he would let Ling Long Shui play. After the beautiful dealer shook the dice, she smiled and said, Everyone, please place your bets. After she finished speaking, under normal circumstances, everyone would place their bets. However, this time, no one placed their bets for a long time. They looked at Lin Xian and Ling Long Shui, waiting for them to place their bets first. Everyone's mentality was the same. If they continued to bet like that, then the amount they bet would be more than the previous table. They only needed to bet the opposite and win more. Linglong Shui looked very serious. She placed another 1 million chips on big. After placing her bet, she looked at Lin Xian and asked, "Is it okay?" Lin Xian smiled and said, "If you think it's okay, then it's okay." Linglong Shui then nodded. "I'll bet on small." Small. After Linglong Shui placed her bet on big, they saw that she placed another 1 million. Then, they all placed their bets on small. One should know that in the past, when they bet on small, the other side would only have 2 to 300,000. If they won, then they would split it and win 10 to 20,000. But now, the other side had 1 million. If they won, then they would win more. In their eyes, Lin Xian and Linglong Shui were fat meat. This time, no one followed Linglong Shui's bet because they knew that even if they won, they would only be able to take away 90% of the money they had bet on 1 million yuan. They might as well bet on 1 million yuan instead. Because everyone bet on small, and everyone wanted to earn a portion of the 1 million, the total amount of money on the other side was close to 1 million. After all of them was small. The beautiful dealer slowly opened the sieve cylinder as everyone stared at it without blinking. Linglong Shui's beautiful eyes were also staring nervously. If others were to know that a goddess who was about to reach the heavenly Tao realm was still so childish, they would definitely find it unbelievable. However, it was something she had never come into contact with before. Furthermore, she didn't like failure. After her first failure, she would want to be strong and take it seriously, causing her to care more about winning or losing. 556. Big. The beautiful dealer said with a smile. The group of gamblers looked disappointed and sighed. "Did I win?" Linglong Shui asked Lin Xian in confusion. Lin Xian smiled and nodded. "I won." Then she proudly stretched out her hand, and all the chips on the table gathered in front of her. She looked a little satisfied, and almost all the money she had lost earlier was recovered. Let's continue. It seemed like Linglong Shui's luck was on the rise. In the next 3 rounds, she had placed all her bets correctly. Furthermore, she was the only one against a group of people. If she won, it would all be hers. Finally, she held 3 chips worth 1 million and 10 chips worth 500,000. She happily walked to the next spot with Lin Xian. "Here." Linglong Shui handed the chips to Lin Xian. "What's up?" Lin Xian asked in puzzlement. "I'm returning your money." Lin Xian smiled and said, "It's not enough. I'll pay you double. You're still short of 500,000. Then let's continue. Linglong Shui was here to earn money. She couldn't possibly not have enough money to repay Lin Xian. "Miss, sir, you can try going to the second basement." A handsome man in a suit smiled as he walked over to Lin Xian and Linglong Shui. Linglong Shui looked at Lin Xian, as if asking for Lin Xian's opinion. "Let's go. We should be able to earn more money on basement 2. Then, they took the elevator to basement 2. The man in the suit smiled slightly. He adjusted the earpiece in his ear and said, "Young Master N, they've already gone to basement 2. A man's voice came from inside. "When they reach basement 2, let them win tens of millions. Trick them into going to basement 3. Yes." In a very exquisite room on the 3rd floor of the basement, the corners of a handsome man's mouth curled up slightly. In front of him were the surveillance cameras of the entire casino, and he also noticed Linglong Shui. He was the owner of this casino, and Mingho. He was a few years younger than Liao Jian, but his family's wealth and power were comparable to Liao Jian's. He was also one of the overlords of Lin and City. Even Liao Jian didn't dare to provoke him. Why? Because the Azura Palace's White Tiger Hall master was his uncle. From the moment they came in, many people had their eyes on Linglong Shui. Most importantly, this woman was too beautiful, including Bing Lingyue who came later. However, everyone had their own preferences. Although Linglong Shui had a male companion, and Mingho had his eyes on her, he was determined to get this woman. Therefore, he needed a little bit of scheming. First, he would let them win some money on basement 2. After tasting the sweetness, he would trick them to basement 3. Presumably, they would be arrogant because of their consecutive wins, thinking that they were invincible. Then, he would make them bankrupt in the high-stakes gambling on basement 3. At that time, no matter how beautiful this woman was, wouldn't she be at his mercy? He could tell that they had some money, but when he saw their happy faces after winning a few $100,000, he could roughly guess what kind of existence they were. Disdain. He didn't know Lin Xian, and he didn't watch the news conference, although he did buy some potions. At this moment, Lin Xian and Linglong Shui had arrived at the second underground floor. It had to be said that the second underground floor was much bigger than the first underground floor. However, it was much more luxurious and dazzling. There weren't as many people as the first underground floor, but it was still quite a lot. The second underground floor wasn't as noisy as the first underground floor. The wine and food were freely available, and Linglong Shui felt that it was quite good. No, to be precise, this was Linglong Shui's heaven. Linglong Shui's mouth was twitching. Because of Bing Lingyue's presence, many men had gathered around them, trying to strike up a conversation. Where are Lin Xian and sister? Linglong Shui suddenly realized that they were gone. It seems like they went to basement 2. Bing Lingyue said. Let's go too. Linglong Shui then pulled Bing Lingyue and ran towards the elevator. Ladies, I'm sorry. Basement 2 requires 5 million worth of assets to enter. Linglong Shui then blinked her big eyes and looked at Bing Lingyue. Bing Lingyue smiled and shrugged her shoulders. Nope. You guys forced me to do this. Linglong Shui then took the remaining 200,000 chips and entered the gambling house again. Chapter 617. 10 minutes later, Linglong Yu walked into the elevator with Bing Lingyue with a few million chips. Originally, she didn't want to act shamelessly, but without money, the beautiful girl had to be restrained. Then, she relied on her powerful strength to casually change the size of the sieve in the sieve cylinder, and then ate it all. Because they had won a few million on the first floor, the two of them had attracted the attention of the casino. The casino was such a place. On the first floor, there were no hidden operations. However, on the second and third floor, the casino would definitely have some tricks up their sleeves in order to make money for themselves. It didn't matter if they won money on the first floor, but later on, they could make them spit it all out. Who didn't have some tricks up their sleeves when they opened a casino? But if you couldn't catch them, you couldn't. If you lost money, you were a noob. Lin Xian and Linglong Shui didn't gamble for more than 10 minutes. They just ate and drank, chatted, and observed the bets around them. At this time, a few men walked over with smiles. Do you two want to play a few solo games? A handsome man said with a smile as he looked at Linglong Shui. She was really beautiful. Stunning. Solo. How do we play? Lin Xian asked. Anything is fine. Simple games are fine. Or do you want to compete? How about golden flowers? Linglong Shui looked at Lin Xian in confusion. She didn't understand. Okay, golden flowers it is. Lin Xian smiled. Please. Then they walked away. Lin Xian stood up and walked over with Linglong Shui. How do we play? Linglong Shui was a complete newbie, but she found it interesting. Lin Xian also enjoyed this moment. Linglong Shui didn't understand, but he did. He taught Linglong Shui. It was a wonderful feeling. Lin Xian said, It's simple. Do you remember the poker game we played? Linglong Shui nodded. Exploding golden flower. Each person draws 3 cards. The 3 cards of the same suit are called leopard, which is the biggest. Then it's straight golden flower, which is the straight of the same suit. Then it's straight golden flower, which is the straight of the same suit. Then it's golden flower, which is the straight of the same suit. Then it's golden flower, which is the biggest of the 3 cards of the same suit. Then, Lin Xian roughly explained the rules to Linglong Shui. She was very smart. She knew about poker because they had played it several times in the past. Lin Xian had also taught her a long time ago. He roughly explained the rules to her, and she knew how to play it. Yes, it was just the rules. The golden flower explosion also included psychological aspects and so on. In any case, Lin Xian just let Ling Long Shui play. At the gambling table, Ling Long Shui sat on one side, and on the other side was her opponent, Wang Nanmu. Behind Wang Nanmu stood a few of his friends. Next to Ling Long Shui sat Lin Xian to help her check. In front of them were the chips. "Beauty, how big of a bet can you take?" Wang Nanmu asked with a smile. "Up to you." "Okay, then we'll follow the rules of the second floor. The base is 100,000, and the increment is 50,000. What do you think?" "Okay." Then, Wang Nanmu nodded. "Let's begin." The beautiful dealer dealt them 3 cards one by one. Then, Ling Long Shui took a look. "Is it very big?" she asked Lin Xian. Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose, then pushed all the chips in front of Ling Long Shui into the pot. Wang Nanmu frowned. 5-card stud? Who played like that? He was just trying to scare him. Interesting. But he was here to lose money, and in his hand was a heart of the same color. How could he lose money like that? On Ling Long Shui's side, 2, 3, K. Wang Nanmu smiled and said, "Guys, do you think I'm afraid of you playing like this? 5-card stud it is." Then, he pushed in the 3 million chips in front of him. Lin Xian smiled and said, "Then let's compete." Wang Nanmu rubbed the cards in his hand. The 6, 7, and 9 cards were in the same color. Among them, the 9 became a different color. In other words, the biggest card in this hand was a 9. There were plenty of people who cheated in order to win money, but he was the only one who cheated in order to lose money. There was nothing he could do. After all, this was young Master An's order. Losing money was only temporary. He could always win it back. This was a $6 million match right from the start, which immediately attracted a lot of spectators. "Reveal your cards," Lin Xian said with a smile. Then, the beautiful dealer revealed their cards one by one. Everyone was stunned when they saw their cards. What was going on? 2 pairs of cards that couldn't be any smaller. They didn't even have an ace. 2 pairs of cards like this? Lin Xian saw that the biggest card in his opponent's hand was a 9, and the corner of his mouth curled up slightly. He knew it in his heart. It was impossible to go 5-card stud with this kind of card. At most, it was a psychological battle. They would raise the price until they scared the other party and then give up. But 5-card stud? Wasn't that losing money? Therefore, Lin Xian roughly knew what was going on. He looked at Ling Long Shui beside him and sighed inwardly. She was a femme fatale. Sigh. Wang Nanmu's face was full of frustration, but he was secretly happy. It was fine as long as he lost. It was fine as long as he lost. "I say, young Master Wang, aren't you going a little too hard? You want to go 5-card stud with the biggest 9? Aren't you a K2? It's fine. It's just a small amount of money. Do you want to continue?" Wang Nanmu asked. "Of course. My wife's luck today is unbelievably good. Of course, I want to continue." Ling Long Shui ignored how Lin Xian addressed her. She also didn't care about what others thought. She only knew that she had won money. This feeling was quite strange. Of course, she wasn't addicted to it. She just felt that it was quite exciting. She felt that Lin Xian wasn't too bad. At least the places he brought her to play weren't too boring. The taboo thing for a guy to go out with a girl was boredom. If a girl agreed to go out with you, it meant that she was interested in you. However, if you made her feel bored, the hormones that the girl had worked so hard to stimulate would be gone. Then, you can forget about doing anything else. Go, exchange 10 million in chips for me. Yes, young Master Wang. Very soon, 10 million in chips appeared in front of Wang Nanmu. Wang Nanmu smiled and said, "I've never worried about losing money, but I don't think I'll lose. Let's continue." When Ling Longyue and Bing Lingyue arrived, they saw Lin Xian and the others. The other tables were completely different from the first floor. However, their table was surrounded by dozens of people. They were very curious. Then, they quietly snuck into the crowd so that Lin Xian and the others couldn't see them. At the same time, they could see the bet on the table. At this moment, Ling Long Shui had a lot of chips in front of her. The chips added up to 10 million. On the other hand, Wang Nanmu's face was extremely ugly. Ling Long Shui didn't have much of a reaction. She just felt that it was quite interesting to win. Lin Xian was basically sure that Wang Nanmu in front of him deliberately came here to lose money. Since you personally came to give me money, how could I not accept it? Chapter 6:18. Ling Long Yu was very excited. She was rich and could eat good food. Let's go and play. Bing Lingyue said. Okay. Then, they went to the other side while eating good food. The venue was very big. As long as they were not on the opposite side, it was hard to notice them. Just like now, Ling Long Shui did not notice Bing Lingyue and Ling Long Yu at all. Of course, if she released her divine sense, she would definitely notice them. But who would release their divine sense for no reason? Young Master Wang, you have already lost 10 million. Do you still have money? Lin Xian asked with a smile. Ling Long Shui felt that she was really lucky. They did not cheat and kept winning. If Wang Nanmu knew what she was thinking, he would definitely scold her. Lucky. Lucky my ass, that was a gift from him. No, I have already lost 10 million. It's not good to gamble today. Let's change. Wang Nanmu also knew that if he continued to gamble, it would be suspicious. It was best to change. Young Master Wang, you are not good. Let me do it. A man behind Wang Nanmu smiled and sat on Wang Nanmu's seat. 10 minutes later, the chips in front of Ling Long Shui reached 20 million. Half an hour later, the chips reached 40 million. Many people saw this scene and even felt that they had cheated. They had been winning all this time. Wasn't that too fake? But they could not see anything. Most importantly, the other party did not say anything about cheating. What right did they have to say it? Here. Ling Long Shui gave Lin Xian 10 million chips. Why is there so much? Lin Xian was slightly stunned. Take it as my thanks. Ling Long Shui said. Then I don't want this. Lin Xian gave the chips to Ling Long Shui. Ling Long Shui frowned. Then what do you want? I want you. Ling Long Shui. If you want to die. She said coldly. Although her tone was a little cold, it was completely different from the indifference she had before. Where else is fun? Ling Long Shui felt that Lin Xian had good taste. She had a good time and didn't want to go back. She wanted to go somewhere else. Don't worry, the fun isn't over yet. At this moment, a beautiful dealer walked over with a smile. Both of you, your chips have reached 40 million. The third floor of the basement is an even more luxurious casino. Do you want to go there? In the surveillance room, and Mingho swirled his wine glass and looked at the screen with a mocking expression. The woman who drove him crazy was too beautiful. No matter what price he had to pay, he had to obtain her. Now, Lin Xian had won tens of millions from them. According to Mingho's plan, if they continued, they would lose all their money on the third floor of the basement. If they left, he would send people to stop them halfway and leave the money. The man would be crippled and the woman would be taken away. He didn't want to use violence because it would cause trouble. However, if they left, he had no choice. Do you still want to play? Lin Xian asked Ling Long Shui. Ling Long Shui looked at the chips in her hand and asked, How long will this last? Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose. According to the situation that you three don't understand, it could be a day or a few months. It shouldn't be too long. Then let's continue. Lin Xian smiled at the beautiful dealer and said, Lead the way. Please. And Mingho saw them enter the elevator and finish the red wine in one gulp. He wiped his hands and was prepared to torture them. If the first floor of the basement had 3 rooms and a living room, then the second floor would be a villa and the third floor would be a manor. Whether it was the decoration or the setting, they were all top-notch. Even the red wine worth tens of thousands on the third floor of the basement could be freely drunk. However, the third floor of the basement was indeed rather deserted, because the people here were basically all worth tens of millions or even hundreds of millions. However, Lin and City only had one famous casino, and basically all the people who liked to gamble would be here. There were also quite a few rich people, so there were quite a lot of people on the third floor of the basement. Young Master Lin, Lin Xian and Linglong Shui had just entered when they bumped into a familiar face. Zhang Tian. Zhang Tian ran over happily, then hugged Lin Xian and patted his back. "Why are you here to play too?" Lin Xian smiled. "I'm just here for a stroll." "Why? Are you here to gamble too?" Zhang Tian smiled. "I'm just here to play with my friends. After all, we're in a new city and need to get used to it. This is..." He looked at Linglong Shui. There was a sense of familiarity, but she was too beautiful. To be honest, Lin Xian didn't admire Lin Xian much, but his skill in picking up girls was something he looked up to his entire life. Lin Xian was surrounded by top-notch beauties, and now there was one more, who was so exquisite. Really, invincible. "Oh, my wife," Lin Xian said casually. "Linglong Shui, if you talk nonsense again, I'll tear your mouth apart." Linglong Shui sent a fierce, telepathic message to Lin Xian. She was giving Lin Xian face by sending a telepathic message without saying it out loud. This was really in line with the image of a little wife. "Cough cough, you're awesome." Zhang Tian secretly gave Lin Xian a thumbs up, then said, "I'm Zhang Tian, young Master Lin's friend." Linglong Shui nodded slightly. "Young Master Zhang, what's going on?" Zhang Tian's friends were holding glasses of red wine, and some of them were hugging their girlfriends as they walked over. They all looked at Linglong Shui and swallowed their saliva. Especially the young master hugging his girlfriend. He silently looked at his girlfriend in his arms. He thought she was pretty before, but why did she look so ordinary now? "Let me introduce you. This is young Master Lin, my friend. This is young Master Lin's girlfriend." Zhang Tian smiled and introduced them. "Damn. Young Master Lin, your girlfriend is pretty. I'll make friends with you. My name is Huang Kai." Lin Xian. So they made friends based on whether the other party's girlfriend was pretty or not. That's quite something. Linglong Shui was also helpless. Since they said that, she couldn't be bothered. She also didn't want to embarrass Lin Xian. Anyway, it was fine as long as she knew she wasn't. Then, Huang Kai moved to Lin Xian's side and asked in a low voice, "Brother, does your girlfriend have any girlfriends or something like that? Introduce them." Lin Xian looked at him. "Yes." Huang Kai's eyes lit up. Wow, for a beauty of this level, her girlfriends must be of this level too. Then, introduce them. Huang Kai chuckled. Lin Xian then said calmly, "Her girlfriends are also mine. They're all mine." Huang Kai. Chapter 619. Wait, what does he mean by her best friend is also his? We're all men, who wouldn't want to cheat on their girlfriend's best friend. But it's fine to just think about it in your heart, but if you say it out loud, won't it be a bit too strong? Best friend. What's Linglong Shui's realm? Of course, she can hear Lin Xian's words. She didn't understand the meaning of best friend before, but after living in the human world, she understood. It means that Bing Lingyue is her best friend. She also knows other people, such as Ling Ying and Linya, but they can't be considered as best friends. What did Lin Xian say just now? He said she's his wife, of course. Linglong Shui ignored it, but what did he say? Her best friend is also his wife. So this bastard not only has eyes on me, but also Bing Lingyue? But thinking about it, Bing Lingyue's temperament and appearance are not inferior to mine, and this Lin Xian is the representative of bad men. It's normal for him to like Bing Lingyue. This is what a man is like. Ding, felt Linglong Shui's displeasure. Adonis points plus 500000. The sudden system notification made Lin Xian stunned. Then he thought of something. Damn, I'm chasing one now, I can't show anything else, it's fine if I catch up. Then Lin Xian quickly said, I'm joking, just joking. Zhang Tian has known Lin Xian for a long time, why does he feel that Lin Xian is not joking? Then young Master Lin, we won't disturb you, you can play with sister-in-law. Zhang Tian smiled and said, they can play together, but after thinking about it, it's just the two of them, obviously they want to play alone, so he won't disturb them. Oh right. Zhang Tian suddenly thought of something, and then whispered to Lin Xian, when you're on the third basement floor, you must pay attention to whether or not you're a member of the Men AO Casino. This casino has an unspoken rule, and it's impossible for them to lose money. They might even have their own people disguise themselves as gamblers to win money. The third basement floor has a lot of winnings, so young Master Lin, you must pay attention and be careful of cheating. Lin Xian nodded. Thank you. It's fine. We'll go play then. Let's have a meal together when we're free. After that, Zhang Tian and the others walked away. What is cheating? Linglong Shui heard another word that she had never heard before. Cheating. That's cheating. You can even cheat. She frowned. Then let me ask you, with your ability, can you easily know the size of the sieve in the sieve cylinder? Or even change it to any size? Sure. Linglong Shui said frankly. Then others can do it too. Linglong Shui. Naive, she was too naive. You humans really have despicable means. Lin Xian. Hey, you're attacking too many people. You're one of them. Lin Xian. Then you demons don't have despicable means. Lin Xian's soul interrogated. Linglong Shui said, yes, that's human nature, but you humans have the most tricks. Lin Xian admitted this point. The tricks and scams of humans were so numerous that it was impossible to guard against them. Even a small phone call or an advertisement could be a scam. Then do you still want to play? Linglong Shui didn't care if she played or not, but she still wanted to play to her heart's content. Play, why wouldn't we play? If we don't play, there will be people coming to play with us. See, aren't we here now? Lin Xian's lips curled up as he looked at a man who was holding a glass of red wine and walking over with a gentlemanly smile. And Mingho swirled his glass of red wine as he looked at Lin Xian and Linglong Shui. He already felt that she was very beautiful on the surveillance camera. He didn't expect to see this woman up close. He couldn't take it anymore. This woman must be his. The two of you haven't been here for a long time. Why don't you play a few rounds? I'm Mingho, the CEO of the incorporation. When I'm free, I like to come to this casino with my friends. It doesn't matter if I win or lose, I can make friends. It's pretty good. And Mingho said with a smile. Very few people knew that he was the boss behind the Men AO Casino. Even in the Men AO Casino, only the founding members or those who were absolutely trusted knew about this. Young Master N, you're happy to lose money? Lin Xian asked with a smile. And Mingho said, how much money can I lose? Even if it's 100 million, it's only the company's turnover for 1 or 2 days, right? And Mingho purposely said this for Linglong Shui to hear. He wanted her to know how rich his family was. Young Master N is indeed rich. We're different. Our entire family only has 1 or 200 million. If we lose everything, we'll have nothing left. Our wife might even run away. Lin Xian purposely said with a smile as he hugged Linglong Shui. Linglong Shui. So angry. Why is this bastard so good at taking things to heart? When did I agree to this bastard hugging me? Why is this bastard so natural when he touches me? Ding. Sensing Linglong Yu's extreme displeasure, Adonis points plus 1 million. That's right, Linglong Yu played a few rounds and turned around to see this scene. Ah. So angry. Lin Xian also knew when to stop. After hugging her for a few seconds, he was satisfied and retracted his hand. And Mingho's eyes flashed when he saw this. Why Why can someone with only a few 100 million find a girlfriend of this level? He can't even find one with tens of billions of assets. No, he can't meet one. Never met one. Was it fate? That was the only explanation he could think of. If he were to meet such a beauty, she would definitely be his. However, even if he was played, he didn't feel like he lost anything. At most, she could be his lover. It was a pleasure to see such a beauty every day. And Ming-ho then smiled. That's why casinos are interesting. Especially the third level. If you bring 100 million here, you can bring 1 billion back, right? And Ming-ho began to bewitch Lin Xian. Lin Xian obviously knew what he was thinking. He came here to beat Ming-ho at his own game. You want to lose money, right? That's fine, you can lose. Now you want to win everything, right? Sorry, you still have to lose. Lin Xian pondered for a moment. That makes sense. Also, we're very lucky tonight. We won tens of millions in a row. I think tonight should be a lucky night. Young Master N, are you sure you still want to bet with us? And Ming-ho laughed in his heart. Idiot. Idiot, he was the one who made people lose on purpose. What AF asterisk king idiot. Then, he smiled. Why not? I just like challenges. Since you said that you won so much tonight, I really don't believe it. Lin Xian smiled. Alright, let's do it then. Let's make it simple. How about big or small? I'll let my wife play. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.